Hello, you're listening to the Eric McKenna Project.
Hello.
Get
Are you comfortable over there?
I just got comfortable.
Yeah, I'm good.
Man. Thank you all for being here. And they're walking in tonight, and they do not have any flipping clue what we're going to talk about because I have not told them what's on my cranium. So we're ad-libbing tonight.
Like always.
Right?
I love it.
Facebook and Instagram shit the bed. Last week, a couple days ago, was it like 3 days ago, 4 days
Monday.
ago? I was actually uploading our show together.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it to upload. I'm like, that's kind of funky. And then poof, out.
Yeah.
I think it was it middle of the morning?
It was Monday, yeah.
It's in the morning?
Right after the whistleblower came out on Sunday night.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect segue.
You know,
Well,
I just want to say that
here we go.
I'm considered a social media queen. I'm on there all the time.
I know you are.
That's
why we're talking about this.
I did not notice nor was aware that Facebook or Instagram or any of them went down. I didn't notice at all. So that means I had a good day of not being on social media, and we should all be proud.
I had no idea either.
I had no clue.
I go on like spurts. Mm-hmm. A minute here. I think I have ADD too. So
Yeah.
a minute here, a minute on to something else. I had no idea.
Well, I schedule a lot now. So my social media is going like probably right now. I don't know. You know, I'm always in random places and it's like uploading.
I only knew because I saw news about it. It was down. And there was all the conspiracy theories that came out.
And the
Facebook
memes.
junkie.
The memes, yes.
Right.
The memes. And the conspiracy theories. And
Right there.
yeah,
Talk amongst yourself.
we're talking amongst ourselves.
We don't stop filming. We just go.
I mean, what would
Not
happen
really
if
perfect, no. I'm just saying, like,
Facebook were
make
to
sure we hear
permanently
you.
go down or social media were to permanently go
People
down?
would
Like,
lose their shit.
people would lose their minds. They'd be like, what?
Lose their minds.
What do we do?
Oh, absolutely.
You think?
100%. It's become too much of people's lives.
Yeah.
It's been
Is
too...
it really too much, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Well, it's
I think for a
debatable.
lot of people, I mean, it's something you check, you read your articles on, there's recipes on it, there's funny cat videos on it.
No, that was Facebook in the early 2010s. It was all
I haven't seen a
all
cat
cats,
video in a
all
long
cats.
time.
Oh my gosh, I watched one last night and there was this guy and he was acting like his cat.
Okay.
And I
He was what?
He was like acting like his cat would. So it was, I'll put it on my Facebook page.
Please do.
What's the date today? The 7th. October 7th. Everybody who's listening,
She just
check
dated
back.
our show.
It
Rule
is-
number one.
Don't take the show. Amateur hour. Amateur hour.
You can
She's
edit
so
it.
experienced.
Anyway,
She's teaching
just
me
gonna have
things
to get
about
this one out in a
podcasting.
timely manner, I guess. But
Oh,
you know, he
ouch,
was like
ouch.
running around the house with like one of those door stoppers, and he's like hitting it with his hands, and then just suddenly spazzes out and runs across the room. But it's like a person. So I mean, he did all kinds of stuff, like knocking this cat toy, like doing that on the. It was hilarious.
Was it funny or stupid?
Oh, I thought it was so spot on. I mean, it was like the cat using the litter box
are you a
at
cat
3 in the
person?
morning. No. I mean, I have had cats. I will
hate
never
cats.
have a cat again.
I don't like cat. I don't hate cats. just
I will
don't
pet
like
a cat. I never want a cat again. I'm done with cats.
I just think
We've
cats
had
are
our
pretentious.
relationships.
They are.
They're pretentious.
Totally.
They're just like dicks.
They're gross.
Pretentious assholes.
They are. Like dogs
think
are the
they're
best.
gross.
Yeah,
Like,
they
dogs
are.
are the best.
I love dogs. I
Yes.
want a million dogs. I
Yes.
never want a cat again. Like, I'm done.
Cats look at you like you're fucking bothering me. Like leave
And
me
like,
alone.
they get back at you and they get mad at
assholes.
you and like most of the time they don't want to be
they're
pet.
so low maintenance, man.
No.
Not
Compared
really.
to a dog.
No.
I agree to disagree.
No. Litter
In-
boxes.
In real estate,
Yeah,
you
but
know,
I don't like them in real estate. No, I don't like them.
They
in real estate.
smell.
They smell.
they smell
They can smell.
and they're vicious
They can be vicious.
and they shed.
and they shed.
They what?
They shed.
I don't.
Not like a doodle.
Do they?
I want a golden doodle.
I have 2.
I'm saving up. Maybe if somebody pays me more money, I can get a doodle.
Is that a shot?
That's a shot across the bow.
Just put a special. Can we put like a line? Can we put a line on my payroll check says the doodle cause? So in a couple of years,
Doodle fund.
the
Yes.
doodle fund.
But seriously, though, now you trying to honestly tell me some bullshit that none of you really were too affected by the fact that it was out.
I had no idea.
I didn't know.
I knew, but I wasn't
did not
affected
know.
by it. Because it was the middle of the day, so I
Yeah.
really don't do anything on there other than check news. Really,
Instagram was down too because I guess they're two peas in the same
and
pod,
WhatsApp,
right?
the entire.
I'm not even sure what that is.
So what's interesting about it, and again, not to be a conspiracy theorist, but it was the
But that's
only
what we
time in history where all three of them went down at the exact same time for the longest period ever. The day after this supposed whistleblower, I don't really believe is a whistleblower, came out. It just something doesn't add up.
So
I
talk
just-
about
Maybe
that.
it was me.
I initially
Well, I mean, there were
suspected that.
articles, and I don't know how true they are. I think the New York Times had an article that said the employees couldn't even get in the building.
I did see that.
So it's
Is
like,
it-
why?
yeah, I saw the
like what's
security.
going on? And like the DNS server couldn't find the website, couldn't find Facebook. And like literally the
Right.
morning after someone goes
could
out.
you have gone in there and sniped that Facebook domain?
No. That thought crossed my mind for a second, but it was like, there's no way you could do that.
Logging on GoDaddy.
Isn't that what Trump did with Jeb Bush? When Jeb Bush, during the 2016 presidential campaign, Jeb Bush let his domain lapse, and Trump bought it and pointed all the traffic to his website.
It's fantastic.
I mean, it's smart. If you're,
So-
if you're that
Genius,
dumb,
yeah.
if you're that
I
dumb.
can't say where, but one of my positions I had newly gotten into got hacked 3 months in, and it
Thank you.
it was put up for auction without me knowing, and then we were being extorted for $2,000 to get the domain back, and they put a pornography site on top of it. So
Nice.
everybody who went to our link saw pornography, and I was brand new, and I was like, haha, everybody, it's fine.
I'm changing the culture of this company.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Immediately.
I'm sorry about that. We're just gonna buy this other domain over here and move on with our lives. So
What-
yeah, I really introduced something new to the company culture that year.
What if it was down for a couple days?
People would lose their fucking mind. I'm telling you right now. I mean, people would lose their mind. Well, one, I think, not only from a personal standpoint, from a business standpoint, right?
That's where I'm
It
affected by it, right?
It drives a lot of traffic. It drives,
Yeah.
ads. I mean, a lot of businesses run purely off of Facebook and Instagram ads. So if that's
Right.
down for
Oh,
2
definitely.
days, that impacts. There are companies that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. I mean, look how much money it costs Facebook. It was like hundreds of millions of dollars. I think they said they lost, what was it, $220,000 a minute.
Zuckerberg's bottom line. That's what they were talking about. How much he
I
personally.
think he said
lost.
like $7 billion because when the stock tanked. Now I think it came back up, but I think if it was down for a couple of days, there would be fucking panic.
So, who did that? Do you think? Who shut them down? They're hacked from somewhere.
No,
It's
Was-
that Carol Baskin lady. It was her. I know it. She shut down the Tiger King, and now she's shutting down our
fucking
Facebook.
Carol Baskin,
Damn Carol Baskin.
stupidest
That's
show
awesome.
ever. Those hours I'll
everybody-
never get back.
Everybody watched it.
I know.
Well,
Everybody.
yeah, because at the
I
beginning of
dressed
the
my kids in
pandemic,
outfits.
everybody
Yeah.
was afraid of what was happening. It gave peace
I
to
will
the
never
country.
get those
The
hours
dysfunction
back.
of that show gave everybody a unifying rally
I feel
cry.
really good.
Where
about
were
my
you
life.
when COVID started?
really good.
I was watching
the
Tiger King.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It was.
Don't you think? I mean,
It was
Yeah.
terrible.
That'll always be equated with COVID. I think
and
that,
that
show, will
would
always
never
be.
have made it. I don't think
No.
it had been released in normal time.
Not a
normal
chance.
times.
Not a chance in hell.
Right? I mean,
I don't know. Honey Boo Boo made it.
true.
And she's sweet, but I'm just saying, like,
True.
that show.
I think Honey Boo Boo is a little bit distinguishable from Tiger King. I would say. I mean, I think kids are always cute, regardless of the.
Not always.
Well, I have kids, so I'm an optimist. I just think.
Oh,
I
your
think,
kids are cute. That's
I
the
think
difference.
kids can
okay.
be. I think all kids have their time and
Yeah.
their place. I think they're sweet,
Yes.
even when they're mean.
Back to your question.
You never
did
met
it?
Bebe's kids.
God, that's a blast from the past, man. Yeah, I got that one. I got Baby's kids. I don't think a hacker group did it.
You think?
No.
Anonymous didn't do it?
Someone would have taken credit for it by now. That's why, I mean,
Oh, that's the
again, not a
beauty of it.
conspiracy theorist.
You think it was a random, just stupid, like, act
I
of-
think it was intentionally done
it came from within.
from within. I believe that. Because, again, if there's ever a hacking instance that happens, right, and especially this one, the longest and biggest hack of the entire fucking hacking world. No one took credit for it. Like, if someone did that, they'd be like, yep, we did that. We took down these 3 websites for fucking 6 hours.
I thought it was 7.
Might have been 7.
It's probably a 9-year-old who's afraid to get grounded.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I
totally.
told him.
I mean, that would be fantastic if it was. I just feel like it was done inside. I feel like whether it was to do
might
anything
be.
or not, but I think there's just so much shit going on right now with just the world and everything. I feel like there's so much
That's
psychological.
air conditioning, by the way, friends.
Yes.
There is air conditioning.
I just feel like there's so much psychological bullshit that's happening, and that people are just playing around with people's minds. And I think that was, whether it was done intentionally or not, or to clean something up or not, I think it happened to fucking make people go batshit crazy.
And I didn't notice, and neither did she. So.
I didn't.
You
I
didn't notice it
didn't-
at all?
No,
I
I didn't notice even remotely.
No.
Wow.
Just because
I had to look up the article and be
Yeah.
like, wait, what happened?
I'm really busy.
Yeah.
So, and I'm doing like
She's a big deal.
Yeah, I
People
am.
know her.
I'm like,
I only
I
have
am.
big deals on
I
this
know.
show because I'm not, so I aspire to be one. So I surround
can we
myself
have your
with big
autograph
deals.
before
I'm a
I go
huge
home?
deal. No,
Yeah.
no. But I have
great.
like I'll do 50 things at once. So
Yeah.
you know I'll look at this. Like I have to kind of plan out my days in
Okay.
a matter of minutes, really. Like not even hours, minutes.
Right,
So if I have a second to look at that, I'll literally look at it in a second.
Okay.
I schedule, I
Okay.
do most of my Facebook posts or social media posts in the morning and schedule them for the rest of the day because I bounce around and I do my things. So they have to be, to have them productive. Like I'm scheduled up for the weekend right now. So I'm not on there. I mean, I've made a couple posts midday, but that actually was super random that I
So-
had time to do it.
I'm not gonna lie, I look at Facebook when I'm in the bathroom.
I think most of the population does.
What else is there to do?
I mean,
That's
that's
how
like
Twitter
pretty
survives.
much like
I still read shampoo
140
bottles.
characters.
So
totally.
Cereal boxes
Yeah,
while you're
oh,
eating
yeah.
cereal in the morning. That's when life was innocent, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I used to like, oh my God, I would yearn for something to fucking read when I was on the toilet as a kid. Like, I'm grabbing like anything because
Yep.
my mind is just like, I can't sit here and be still and wait for nature to take its course. I can't
Yeah.
do it.
Do you find that you sit in the bathroom a lot longer with your phone? Like girls don't hang out in the bathroom like men do. Men hang out in the bathroom,
the only place you
10,
can find
15, 20
peace.
minutes. Girls go in, do your thing, get out.
It's the only place we can find
But-
peace.
I don't hang out.
Yeah.
But like
I'm
I
in and
find
out.
that I will sit in the bathroom on the toilet for like 20 minutes reading something for no reason.
Now,
I
my,
just-
my daughters do
I
that.
don't
done
have,
it.
I don't
I've
have
done it.
time for that.
I've done it.
I'm like,
I
in and
can-
out.
I
That's
can
my
be
only
very-
downtime.
I can be productive there.
Yeah, that's
Mine
I-
is
no.
so I'm into right now. I'm playing some Words with Friends,
Ooh, I love that.
at least for an hour a night right now, which is bad. But this is why I am up 15 games in a row. Top of the leaderboard, Patty,
Nice.
wherever you are, whatever country you're in. I beat you twice, and I came back for one. So I've been off of social media a little bit more because I have been playing Words with Friends. But then I'm like, is that any better than being on social media? I mean, I guess I'm using my brain more, but I should probably
try
read a
not to do it.
book.
When I'm in the bathroom, I'm in and out. I got other shit to do. I mean, I just can't.
Other shit to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's
just
great choice of words.
that was
Great choice of
fantastic.
words. But like my daughters, they'll
No
sit
pun
there on their
there.
iPads
They're
for
hiding.
20 fucking minutes. No, my daughters will sit there with the door wide open on the iPad in the downstairs bathroom, like right by our door.
Welcome to the McKenna residence.
I'm just like, okay,
Well,
that's
it
cool.
was Tetris back in the day.
Tetris.
Ooh.
No, I've always been like, not to sound, I'm just, I'm in and out.
Words of Friends is
Well-
still a thing?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
like 10 years ago, I
I
feel
would like to say that everybody should pick up a Reader's
Angry
Digest.
Birds?
Keep those
They
alive.
still make those?
I am on a subscription. I'm probably the only person my
Wait,
age.
do you
I
remember the
love-
weekly reader in school?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And,
No.
and
Yes.
highlights? Remember the magazine
was
highlights?
the best.
My mother was.
That was great.
My mother is a cartoonist for Highlights, doing their hidden pictures. So
and
I
they
always
did
had the
greeting
highlights.
cards too, didn't they?
I don't know about. She was a greeting cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she does highlights for kids.
Nice.
Or she was.
Highlights. I mean, and I used to get that delivered to the house.
That's at a dental office.
Oh God.
Yeah, I remember highlights.
What about Reading Railroad? Do you
Rainbow?
remember that?
Reading
Railroad.
I don't remember reading Railroad. I remember reading Rainbow.
So I'm not exact. I remember the name. My daughter does something with
Reading
Reading Railroad. She's like the treasurer of the club at school.
What is
Did
that?
not know that.
I think it's some. I guess it's like a
I lived in
reading
a repressed area.
group for kids, some sort of.
Interesting.
I had Book It.
Oh, book it! You
I
got a
remember
pizza,
that.
Personal
man.
pan pizza. And your red cup.
Totally, yeah.
You didn't have Book It? Do you even know what Book It is?
No.
Book It was the best
Mm-hmm.
incentive to read as a kid. It was a little fucking button that said Book It on it, and you had to read, I think it was 5 books.
And you got little
you
gold
you had to write a
star.
report. You had to read the book and write a report, and you got a star. And when you filled up your star, you go to Pizza Hut, and it was a personal pan pizza.
Okay.
I would read
Delicious.
like a motherfucker.
You didn't have that.
Like, those were the
Yeah.
best.
Oh,
Like,
I
yeah.
did not have
I've
that.
taken my kids
Yeah.
to Pizza Hut countless times.
Yeah.
Did you have
Book
film
it.
strips in school? Am I dating myself so
No,
far back?
no, we
There
had
wasn't
film
like we had
strips.
film strips. Like we would go in there, and I think it was our social studies class. We had like a weekly, the week in review or
Yeah.
the highlights. It was something, and then current event. It's called current events.
Yeah.
And you go for this film strip, and then you talk about like.
Yeah, we had projectors.
And I remember like, and we're talking like the mid to late 70s. I remember like the Russian tanks were gathering, and
wow.
and it was pretty fucking horrifying. I mean, like,
Yeah.
there was the Iran-Iraq war,
Yeah.
and there was all that crazy stuff, and just
I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm near your age.
yeah,
near
we had
your
films.
age.
When I hear
Well,
film
you must be
strips,
45-ish, right? I mean,
not quite there, but near.
yeah. But
I have no idea what that is.
current, you didn't have current events.
Well,
Like
Probably,
and it
but
was a
I don't
film
know what a
strip.
film
It got
strip is.
delivered. A film strip is like a film strip is like a projector, and then
That
instead
runs
of
a
like a
film
running
strip.
film, like it was like a motion picture, like you would just be a film strip, and they'd move it to, and there'd be a still picture projected on the
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
I know what you're
And
talking
you
about.
talk about the still
Yeah, we
picture,
had that.
and you go to the next one, film strip. it was
Yeah, I
called.
remember.
No.
I don't know if that's what they called it, but I remember that.
I
Like,
was so excited because it was, we're sitting in the auditorium, and it was like not a regular class, and we could kind of
You got out of your room.
Dude, anytime you walked into class and you saw a projector or VCR, you're like, this is fucking the
Sub.
best.
So,
Sub. It was
Sub.
like sub. Or,
so I
or this is fantastic.
Torture them.
Yes.
It was senior year, junior year, senior year, of high school. Sorry to this teacher. Totally was me. And we had this, it was like before cell phones were how they were. So you got two of these like little pink computer things, and yours talked to the other person, right? So you could like,
Like a
text in
walkie-talkie?
It was like texting in class.
Okay.
Like they communicated with each other, but you had to have one. So it's probably how cell phones were completely created by these things. Well, the other part was you could control the TVs in the classroom. So I'd be sitting in class, like underneath the desk, turning the TV on, and if it was like movie day, I'd turn it off in the middle. We got TVs like rolled out of the room, back in the room.
So you were that kid.
I mean, just briefly. It
Yeah,
wasn't
you were
all
that
the
kid.
time, but I did have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they couldn't figure out how it was happening. They're like, "What is going on?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
Do you remember the TV show Zoom?
I loved Zoom.
Never heard
Zoom
of
is
it.
Zoom.
No, I don't know this show.
Did they wear like the striped shirts?
Yeah.
I love that
Do you
show.
remember like the new Zoo review?
Love it. That
I remember the name. I can't picture
there was
it.
a witch, Witchy Poo.
Oh, was she
Was-
in the new Zoo review?
I think so.
Keep talking
And-
about this
and
shit.
the
'cause I feel
hippo,
young.
right?
Electric
This is
Company.
good.
No, the
I remember the Electric Company.
Do you remember the
I
hippo? Henrietta Hippo on
Henrietta
New Zoo
Hippo.
Review?
Yeah, and that became a toy.
That was the greatest show.
So, funny story. Remember Sid and Marty Krofft? Is that name?
Mm-hmm.
That was a production company that created a lot of bizarre '70s kids teenagers. Sigmund the Sea Monster,
Okay.
HR Puffin stuff.
I
Oh,
remember
Witchy
HR.
Poo's on that show.
Right.
I'm wrong.
Fast forward 2010, doing my guitar thing, and I got a friend in California buying a guitar for me, and he's negotiating with me on price, and I hear him at the gym. I can tell he's on a treadmill. We're bullshitting and we're fighting on price, and my kids were at my office, and I had told them the night before I used to watch this crazy show called HR Puffin Stuff, and there was a little flute, the magic flute, and all this nonsense.
Okay.
And
I could sing it if you'd like.
yeah, I'm sure you can. We'll get there. We'll get there.
We have guitars.
And
lot
I
of them.
had made a comment on social media the night before. I'm going, I got HR Puffin stuff on Netflix for my kids to show them what I watched. And I'm definitely convinced that Sid and Marty Krofft did some serious drugs in their day. People were like, well, of course, it came out of the early 70s. Like, they were like rationalizing that it probably was true. Next day, I'm on the phone with this. Last name it was Danny Grant is his name. I think it was Danny Grant. No, it wasn't Danny. I don't remember the customer, but we were on talking. He's on the treadmill in a health club in Los Angeles. And he said, hey, I saw your post on Facebook about HR Puffin stuff. Man, I remember that too. I'm like, that's crazy. He goes, well, if I was to tell you that Marty Krofft is on the treadmill next to me, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. It was either Sid or Marty, whatever one it was. He's on the treadmill next to him. I'm like, you're full of shit. Hands the man the cell phone, and this guy gets on the phone and professes to be Sid and Marty Krofft. I kind of believe it. There's no reason not to believe it. And I'm like, and he goes to me and goes, and so-and-so just showed me this post on social media. We did do a lot of drugs. What do you say to that? What are the odds of that, right? HR Puffin stuff.
Did they do Land of the Lost too? We talked about Land of the Lost.
That was
Do you
Hanna-Barbera.
remember that?
I remember that.
That was
yeah.
Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, that was scary shit, man.
Land of the Lost,
yeah, Land of the Lost would mess you up
The
in the head.
Sleestacks.
Sleestack.
They were
right. And then
Chaka.
and then when you get a little Chaka, the hairy guys.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I remember the name. I can't. I'll picture
The
it. though.
Sleestacks
What's
were
funny,
so
right?
scary.
The funny thing, the whole thing about them running through the caves and the little like pedestal full of like the crystals and
Yeah,
all
you're
that
right.
stuff was horrifying as a kid.
Yeah.
You get into your teens and happen
Yeah.
to glance, and that's on. You look at that. That's the stupidest shit you ever seen in your life. Like, how was I possibly afraid of this stuff?
Well, the best part now is like if you go back, like I'm 44, so if I go back and watch movies from like 20 years ago,
Okay.
I'm like, this is the worst fucking acting, and
Dude.
like the fake fights, and like how much better movies have gotten, and like the stunts
We're
and the
spoiled.
effects. Like when you go back and watch like the old shit, I'm like, how did I think this?
Oh,
was
I mean,
good?
I watch the kids programs
It's
now.
ridiculous.
They're amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
like,
amazing.
It's crazy.
We had like
We had Captain Kangaroo.
terrible shows.
Saturday, I remember like kids will never understand
Moose.
Saturday morning cartoons. Like you
No.
look forward to that
Bullwinkle.
every
Yeah.
week.
Bullwinkle.
Like,
Garfield.
now kids have them at their fingertips at all times.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go there.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, we don't want to sound like the old folks, you know.
You lost me 20 minutes ago. I didn't know what you were talking about.
You've known every single thing. You've just chosen not to
There's a
participate.
decade between this side of the table.
Yeah, but a
and that
decade,
side.
a decade,
That's true.
a decade's
Just
really
saying.
nothing.
No, I really,
though.
I
it's
have
not.
never heard
A decade's
of
not.
what you
25%
guys.
of my life. Just saying.
Okay.
It's okay.
Go on, go on.
I'll be there too.
So things don't always age well. So
Except
I-
me.
ooh.
I agree.
There you go. Boom.
All right. Okay. Well, the point being, in terms of media, music seems to be it transcends time.
Okay. Some of it.
Generally.
Sure. Okay.
But visually, styles, theater, you know, anything to do with a replication of the modern time, which is what sitcoms do,
Yeah.
it doesn't always age well. I go back and watch Seinfeld now. Probably my favorite
Yeah.
show. Really. Not quite as funny as
I agree
it was.
completely.
I mean, it was great when it was happening,
Yeah.
in the period that was in. Not always funny.
Okay.
I go back and watch shows that I loved as a kid. I used to watch the reruns of Hogan's Heroes. And as a
Okay.
kid, understanding, finally getting, that was World War II, and understanding all that, laughing my ass off. Watching it now, like, how did this hold my interest?
I think because
Yeah.
you're more
John
cynical
Candy
now.
movies. Like, love John Candy
was
growing
great.
up.
He was
Funniest
great. Yes.
guy. See, I saw Planes, Trains, and Automobile with my kids. I thought they'd get a laugh out of it. They're all sitting there stone-faced, not really digging it. And I have to say, if I
not
saw
that
that for the
funny.
first time today, not that
Yeah.
funny.
I made Lily watch Stripes recently, and she thought it was the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah,
And
I-
I just thought, I mean, Stripes was the best when it came out.
It was. It was. Caddyshack was,
Caddyshack.
too.
I just watched
Oh,
that too.
I think
Caddyshack.
yeah,
The
so-
Baby Ruth is like, is the, I mean, that will live on forever.
I watched Caddyshack
Took a
for the
Duke in the
first
pool.
time. I watched Caddyshack for the first time this year ever.
And?
I did not think it was that funny.
Oh my God, I love it.
But
it's
I'm
funny.
sure if I was in the 80s,
Yeah.
I would think it's hysterical.
I watched Porky's was a funny. I went to
Oh,
the
that's funny.
theater and watched
Porky's,
Porky's
yeah.
Porky's is
in
funny.
82 or 83 when
Yeah.
it came out. I laughed my ass off. I saw that about a couple years ago on a Saturday afternoon. It was on. I'm like, this is not funny. Like, so have I become real cynical? Has life hit me so? I've got taken so many body blows over my life. It just I can't get a rise out of a laugh anymore. What is it?
Or does humor change over time? Because if you think about it with Charlie Chaplin in the 1920s.
Sure.
I don't remember that, by the
So
way.
Charlie Chaplin,
You were only a kid.
way
You're
back
lying.
when. way back. You were like 19.
When dinosaurs
So-
roamed the earth.
Just kidding. But his stuff, and because of the way film production was a lot of slapstick, and everything was slapstick. So it was him falling down, him stepping on rakes, him getting somebody taken, and it was very different.
Okay.
So has comedy evolved that we don't find it funny because it's not the way humor is conveyed today to be funny? And is there culture around what's funny and what's not?
So
Great questions.
I tend to think, and I agree with that. I think the way humor has shifted now is one, it has to be quicker, it has to be quick-witted, and it has to be more pensive.
Because we're more dim-witted.
Well, it's true. Like, we want something. We want to get to the joke right away. Like, you can't have a long setup anymore because we're so used to getting things right now.
Immediacy.
So it's got to be quick wit, and it has to be thoughtful. Make you think. Like, I still love The Office. To me, The Office is the funniest TV show of all time.
Absolutely.
I can watch it over. There are some people that think it's not funny. It would also get canceled if it was today because it's so inappropriate.
We're gonna get there.
It's, to me, like that's a humor in my mind that will transcend time. Because
I said that about Seinfeld, though, pal.
Yeah, but
I don't think it does.
But here's the difference. Seinfeld is like people living in New York. The
think
Office is
Seinfeld's
people
hilarious.
working in an office.
Okay.
So if you've ever worked in any type of office, if you didn't work in an office, you won't get it. I get
Yeah.
that. Seinfeld, like, I thought it was funny. I was never a huge fan 'cause I didn't relate to the people. The Office, I think there's a character in that show, no matter what type of human being you are, you can find
know
someone
somebody
you
like
relate
that.
to, or you know someone that's just like that person.
I have to
That's
be
why
in
it's
the
funny.
mood to watch The Office. Like I
will turn
have
it
to be
on
in that
anytime it's on.
dry. It's a dry humor, though. You know what I've been watching recently? Mama's Family.
Oh my
Don't
God,
ask
I
why.
love that.
love Mama's
Such an old
Stupid
show.
humor. It's
Oh my
awesome.
God.
I love
Well, and
Mama's
there's
Family.
nostalgia with it. I mean,
And Golden Girls.
I love the Golden.
Golden
Married
Girls.
with Children.
Golden. Oh,
Al Bundy.
I'm gonna
lo-
be Peg for Halloween. Just saying.
That's fantastic. That's a good costume.
I love Lucy. I'll watch that.
So you watch the
and-
classics then. Do you find the Three Stooges funny? I'm asking a guy. Do you find the Three Stooges
No,
funny?
I never did. Even as a kid, I didn't.
Abbott and Costello.
No, didn't.
It's a different
Laurel
kind of
and
humor.
Hardy.
No.
I don't think any women do. For sure.
Because here's the thing. Like, I grew up, and they weren't a big thing when I grew up, right? I was born, when was I born? 77. So I grew up in the 80s,
Well,
right?
there wasn't a big thing when I grew up either.
No, I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying you're like.
Watched it as reruns as a kid.
Listen, I'm not saying you rode horseback, but all I'm
When
saying
dinosaurs
is
roamed the earth.
it wasn't my type of humor. Like I've always liked quick-witted humor, like funny shit, and I like to think. Like I like comedy that makes me think.
Okay.
Like, I'm like, like that's
Okay.
There's a setup to it.
So you like
that's what
George
I
Carlin?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. My new favorite comedian is Nate Bargatze. Literally one of the funniest comedians I've ever seen.
Okay.
You watch. He has like 3 specials on Netflix, and I'm very picky when it comes to comedians. This guy's by far one of the funniest comedians I've ever watched.
I have tickets this year to see Sebastian Maniscalco, and I am so excited.
I liked him.
Yeah,
This guy's
he's funny.
funnier. This guy's 100% funnier than him.
Really?
100%. And I loved him. I love him. He's
Like
great
I can
humor.
watch this thing a million times because I find it. I mean, just the expressions and I'm Italian and you're Italian,
Yes.
so I relate to a lot of it with my
with
grandparents.
Nate though, Nate is like, he's just a guy from Tennessee. He's like, he's just a normal dude that's just funny. Like he's just like a chubby, frumpy guy, and he just talks about like just basic normal shit, but makes it funny. Like he talks about
Slice
like
of life.
going to Starbucks, and he has this one joke. He talks about how he ordered iced coffee with milk, and they just gave him ice with milk. And he talked about how he thought he said it wrong. Like he went in the mirror, and was like, "Am I saying this wrong? Like, why is this happening twice?" And he just he goes into these stories, and his setup is good. It makes you think, where's he going with this? And it's just, that's the type of comedy I like. And I do think humor changes over time, but I think there is kind of like music.
Does it?
I do. To Mandy's point, like in the 20s, it was slapstick. Like,
You don't think slapstick would work today if it was in more in a
It
modern
does, but
time?
in smaller.
Like what
like
Kramer and Seinfeld
Sebastian-
did with slapstick.
Sebastian
right? That's the thing.
Maniscalco does some slapstick, but he has well thought out, developed stories from his youth.
Right.
But then he'll throw his body into it. It's not as much of body humor today as it's mental. You know what I mean? Like they're not using their bodies into like Jim Gaffigan literally stands there with sarcasm and he's
Yes.
like, anyway, it's just the presentation.
slapstick is used to punctuate the joke today. It's not the joke. Like it's like slapstick back in the day was the joke. Now it's used to punctuate the joke.
Before the story was, oh, this woman meets a man,
Right.
and the man's going over to her, and then he steps on a rake and it bounces off his face. Like that.
It's never happened to me.
That's a good way to look at it.
I did get hit by a rake one time.
I did too.
I'm
the
so
worst.
sorry.
I always
did too.
wonder
You
how
feel so
people do
goddamn
that.
I'm
stupid
so
when you do it.
sorry.
I was hit by a shovel. A shovel.
Wait, you
That
walked
takes a
onto
special
No
skill
shit.
for a shovel.
No,
to do
it was so funny. So I was prying up. I think my mom. We were trying to pry up some like concrete pieces in the yard, and somehow my mom was prying up this concrete, and the shovel let go, and it was like through the air and like hit me right in
slow
the head,
motion.
like hit me right in the face. I'm down. My mom's standing over me, dying laughing. It was hilarious.
That always happens. It's always in slow motion. I got one word for you when it comes to comedy. Jezelnik.
He's
What the hell's
Anthony
that?
Jeselnik. He crosses every line possible. Every line
That's
possible.
funny to me.
Yeah, I,
I
get
think
it.
Tosh crosses too many lines.
Jeselnik.
Like,
So listen,
I think
I
Jezelnik's
haven't
on
heard
another
this
planet.
he's from Upper St. Clair.
He's on another planet.
Really?
He's from Upper
I
St.
gotta
old
Clair.
get
is
him
he?
on this show.
He's got to be in his 30s, I would think.
Yeah, late 30s, I think.
I mean,
So my son-in-law's from Upper St. Clair. I'm in his
Ask
30s.
him
I'm
if
going
he
to have
knows
to
him.
ask if he knows.
Anthony Jeselnik.
Okay.
Like
Anthony Jeselnik is an acquired taste.
yes, like he says like very, like if you have a
They
position
try
on
to cancel
something,
him every day. There are
Yes.
people in this country that wake up every day and their sole mission in life is to get him canceled.
Is he
whatever
well known,
Whatever
like-
that means.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, he's a-
Nationally known? Okay.
oh yeah, he's
Oh, yeah.
well known,
Yeah.
well known.
you're going to make me listen to comedy shows everywhere I drive.
I'm telling you,
now.
but this guy, like he is. If
He's not right.
No, like he says some things. You're
It's
like,
so
oh,
good.
that's just. It makes you cringe when he says it, but it's also funny. So I'm like, I don't know if I should feel good or bad about myself because I'm laughing but he goes right up to the line. And
Tom
steps right over
McGallis
it.
was in here, and I think Tom is definitely, you can't pigeonhole him as a conservative
Mm-hmm.
bent, liberal bent. If anything, maybe slightly liberal bent, but just a really great, pragmatic guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great artist, painter. Honored to have a painting by him. He's just a great guy, very accomplished, but he's also a comedian. He's got that bent. He's done claymation for VH1 and MTV. And
Okay.
he's a very accomplished guy. And I had this conversation with him a year ago, like, hey, what are the laws in comedy? How do you feel about people being quote unquote canceled or people being attacked for their comedy? And I expected him to be, well, I expected him to say, comedy probably shouldn't have any rules, but you don't want to see people intentionally hurt for hurt's sake. And if, he looked at me and goes, well, if something's funny,
Yeah, I
isn't
mean-
that the whole purpose
Right.
of the comedy event was to laugh?
Yes.
Well-
So if you're going to determine what's appropriate, you probably shouldn't have came to the venue.
Exactly.
Right. It's
Look,
exactly right.
I mean, there's
100%.
there's also the perspective that, okay, it's a joke and it's funny, and let's say, I'm just gonna pick one, like a dumb blonde.
Okay.
Now that the audience takes it out, and some of these comedians are really big and very influential, so they're hearing these jokes and then they take these jokes out and repeat the jokes or repeat the topics, or it becomes part of their mindset that they are, and then the more people who hear it, the more that culture becomes true. So how do you feel? I feel like myself, I think comedy is comedy to
Buyer
a point, but I
beware.
do think
Exactly.
there's some that definitely just is way too much, and they're trying
And
to
who,
be too
who
much.
decides that that's too much, and who makes the determination that
Right.
they can't say that?
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying
Well, what are you saying?
personally that there's some things that cross my line.
And that's why you shouldn't put yourself in a position to ingest that stuff. Absolutely, but
Yeah.
I don't think they should, because they have the balls to say
So
what they
right.
on their
So
mind. They
that's a
should be
good
allowed
question.
to do it.
So you're saying?
Yeah, well, I'm just asking you guys your opinion on. Do you think it's
Anything goes.
if you're
But
offended,
do you
that's your
think it's
problem.
affecting society? What's put out there? Like,
I don't
say
know.
they're making
I
fun
think-
of
I don't know.
minorities
Two
or
Live Crew sang about the most in 1989. Two Live Crew was a rap group that sang about the most rude things up to that point. Most rude, sexual, and then Snoop Dogg and
Snoop
Ice
Dogg,
T and
oh,
all
yeah.
them in the
Yeah.
early '90s. We're talking about Ice T, who's now become a very popular actor and activist and spokesperson, and I mean but he had a song called "Cop Killer" right in the middle of a very turbulent time in this country, and nobody canceled him. I mean, and we all seem to be okay. I guess my point is, I don't like some things that I hear or I kind of casually ingest, but I don't migrate and pay money for things that grate against my sensibilities. I won't say offend me. I'm unoffendable, but when they grate my sensibilities, I choose not to buy them.
Right.
I wouldn't buy rap albums because it doesn't do anything for me. I wouldn't buy country music albums. It doesn't do anything for me. I wouldn't go to a comedian that I thought was kind of like stupid. I'm not going to pay money to do that. So I think the buyer beware.
Did you feel personally attacked by Carol Baskin?
I think my intelligence was attacked by the whole premise that was actually a successful show.
But to your point,
I don't know. Maybe
I
was
think
attacked. It affected my sensibilities.
I tend to think, like, to your point, you're saying it creates this thing in culture. People start believing that, like, people are just looking for a fucking excuse for their own inadequacies.
To be stupid.
Like, that's it.
Exactly.
That's what they are. They're looking for an excuse for their own inadequacies. So I'm offended because you called me a dumb blonde or a dumb this or a dumb that. And it's like, you have your own inadequacies to deal with. Now you're just looking to put blame on someone else.
Oh, it's
like, how about
projection.
deal with your own shit?
Exactly.
Like, that's
But
it.
it is known that brunettes are taken more seriously than blondes.
Absolutely.
And is it part of that culture that was... I mean, it's 50
but let me
years
ask you,
ago
okay,
that
you're
was...
two blondes. You're two blondes. Do you believe that you're dumb blondes?
No.
Okay.
No, but do I think that people perceive blondes as being dumber than brunettes?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Do you perceive you're dumber than brunettes?
I'm not. I'm extremely
Then why does it
intelligent.
why does it
God.
matter then? If you don't
It
think it
doesn't,
perceives, I'm trying to
but
understand.
You do get judged a lot. So I'm in the financial industry, so I
Okay.
get judged a lot. So I walk in maybe
Okay.
with a man in a suit, and I'm in a suit.
Okay.
You know, and someone's looking at my blonde hair. First of all, I'm a woman.
Okay.
Second of all, I have blonde hair. They're not
Okay.
giving me... So if they're going to pick between the two of us,
Okay.
you know, XYZ Bank, ABC Bank.
Okay.
Especially in finance.
And especially if it's a man, if I'm talking to a man, he's absolutely going to gravitate toward the man.
That's a
interesting.
generalization.
It happens. It happens all the time. I mean, I talked to you about this. You get called princess or, you know, dumb
Well, that's demeaning.
or
Well, that-
you know,
well, yeah,
it-
hopefully that
and
kind
I
of
think
shit's going
that
away.
absolutely
in
is.
general, and I understand. And I mean, you have the experience of it, but that just never crossed my mind. Like, it's just I don't. I think that's a generalization. And
well, I'm not saying that blondes don't have a lot of power being a
Oh,
blonde.
they have more fun, don't they?
Absolutely.
See, that's what we're saying. You've heard that for how long? That we're the fun ones and we're the bubbly ones and we're the blonde, you know.
I think blondes like that. The blondes I've been around, they never looked at that as a smear.
I think in business, I try really hard not to be that person.
to be fun. To be a fun, bubbly person in business, you try not to do that.
Not to be
It
too
depends.
girly.
Okay.
It depends, right? It depends
well,
who I'm with.
sure.
Yeah,
I think if they
aware of your
know
environment,
me,
aware of your
yeah.
environment.
Yeah,
I get
of
it.
Yeah.
course.
If
Like,
they-
you want to be taken more like the blonde on Shark Tank, who's like, look here, like, we're going to do this
right.
deal. We don't want to be taken as like, hi, oh my gosh, thanks for
but don't you
coming.
think? But let me ask. Hold on. I'll play devil's
Hey.
advocate. Don't you think presence and presentation and the way someone carries themselves? I would never. Now, again, that Cochran woman, Barbara Cochran, is extremely accomplished. I don't find her, for me, very attractive. You know, she's a volvacious woman. Is that the right word?
Voluptuous.
Voluptuous. There you go. Thank you. Old brain. And she's not trying to sell that. But I'm saying she's attractive, and but she has an assertiveness to her and a professionalism and a demeanor that it's all fucking business. And excuse my French, but the bottom line is I think she gets taken, I would assume in most instances, taken as someone who's all business, can take care of her business, and someone not to be messed with. That's what I think of Barbara Cochran. But she's
I
blonde.
agree.
Well, you know,
I mean,
I've worked with people before who, you know, I've worked with other women that I partnered with in the past, and they've used their body or their sexuality or being flirtatious or giggling, and it's hideous.
it is.
You know, it's embarrassing to me. You know,
That's been going on forever.
but I mean,
though.
but then you've got the clients who love that. You know.
I do it all the time.
And then you've got the clients who,
Especially the
who
older,
don't want you to
older
come.
gentlemen.
They don't want you to bring that person back.
But
so,
you know what? Those ones that love it just aren't your people.
Right.
Right? I mean,
my belief in all this is if you can have all these stigmas, but it starts with your self-belief. If you believe that you're the right person for it and you believe you deserve what you deserve, then you're going to do it. Whether
Absolutely.
you're blonde, brunette, whatever. I think that's, again, that comes back to my whole point on inadequacies.
But it's going against...
People are always looking...
It's going against even what the media is putting out there as a perception of blondes. I mean, Shark Tank woman, she's awesome. She's very business-minded. But a lot of the blondes are like, you know, they're put out there as...
It's always
Well, it
been that
goes
way.
up
It's
to
just
it.
not right, I don't
Blonde.
think. But
It goes
it's
up
No,
always
but
been
little
that
girls
way.
grow up with that, and then you almost have to be anti that mindset, like go away from modern culture to get yourself into not being that
Well,
stereotype.
it goes back to Marilyn Monroe, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I will say this. It's a good point. I don't, it isn't, men are doing the gawking inappropriate. Men are objectifying inappropriate, all of that. But it does originate with basic sexuality.
Yep, I agree with that.
Marilyn Monroe was flaunting herself in the most sexual way possible to get ahead, whatever that meant in her life, financially, fame, whatever. I'm not making a judgment call. I'm not saying right or wrong. People do what they do. They do what they want. That's fine. I'm just saying it isn't a one size fits all, I don't think. And I just think that, like, one of the most things that bother my sensibilities, and I guess I can use the word offends, but I don't have an iron in the fire. But when I saw as a young person in the early 80s being downtown Pittsburgh one afternoon, I was walking to go meet my father. I got off the bus and I walked, and I saw men building the subway system at the USX tower, integrating all that. I saw men gawking at women. And it was the first time I ever experienced that and watched that. And from that moment, I've always had like a real problem. It bothered me bad when I didn't want to be around it. I felt so bad for those women that it bothered me.
See, and I actually got honked at twice today, so
You felt good about that?
I just don't care anymore. It's
was
happened to
me.
me
I was
since
just
I was
saying
like a young. No, I mean I really do. I'm like parking my car and I get honked at, and I'm like, all right, yeah. Hey.
No, but I'm saying that's
like,
but see, it's
but I'm
only-
used, like you get so used
Well,
to it, it's like whatever. I don't care.
It doesn't make it right or wrong, and it's still inappropriate, and it's still nasty and ugly. But you know what? This
bet-
is not a great, perfect world we maneuver in, and I think at times, we have to, and that's not fair. I don't like the word fair. I know it's not quote unquote fair, but you can't wish your world to be fair. You can't wish your life
meant
to be fair. You need to maneuver through it,
Right.
and get to your goals as a human.
Yes.
And be better than the people that are trying to attack you. I think in the end, if you can do that, I think that's the victory.
well, you have to
right?
be indifferent to it and ignore it. I really don't
Absolutely,
give a
yes.
shit what anybody thinks about me.
That's
I mean,
exactly
Yeah.
right.
You
It's-
really
Humans
do
have a
have
hard-
to just
humans
say,
has a real
whatever.
hard time
I
with
don't
that.
care.
Well, because I look at this. Let me ask you a question. I think judging people based upon appearance is an automatic human reaction, right?
Yes.
I think the moment you see a person, you have like the first time you and I met was tonight. You probably saw me and had a certain judgment immediately, and I did the same, right? That's just the natural reaction of humans. It's my job that if you judge me in a way that I don't perceive myself to be, it's my job to prove you wrong. That's how I look at it. And I think people tend to get into this
pretty good.
It's true. I think people get into the stage where like they feel judged and they feel like they're constantly fighting an uphill battle instead of just looking at it from a different perspective. It's like, who gives a shit what people think of you? No one's going to judge you the way you want to be judged. It's just not how the world works. Like no one's going to look at me the exact way I want them to look at me. It's never going to fucking happen. It's my job to make them look at me that way.
Right.
That's just nature. But we're always putting these stigmas and trying to pass blame and push it outside. It's an external reason why I'm judged this way, and I get the whole, the blonde and this. But again, I think we
There's
have
a lot
to start.
of bad stereotypes.
There's a million. I
lot of
mean, I'm
shitty bad
Italian. Like I remember my friends used to call me every derogatory name growing up, and it's just like you don't care, and you have to get past that. And I think that's where we've went sideways as society, because I think we've started to look at who can we blame for our problems, who can we blame for the inadequacy we feel individually, and that's what we have to get past.
well,
as
the power
people.
is just not caring.
Yeah,
That's
It
where
is.
the power
That's
is.
Zero
the
fucks.
power.
100%.
Is
Right.
the
You
most
have
powerful
to.
thing.
Especially,
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
You have to. Now, whenever I walked into Cozza Law Group, weren't you like, oh,
Like,
this
this chick's
blonde.
crazy. But she does good marketing, so we're good. No, it's no.
No,
but
and then
no.
you said today you're one of the bossiest people in there. I'm like, hey,
I mean,
I just
I
I
believe
do
that
what I'm
wholeheartedly.
there for business, and
Yes.
I come and I do what I'm
and that,
thinking
and that
about.
wasn't meant in a mean way. That
I
was
didn't
meant
take it offensively
right, exactly.
at all.
Like that was that was a compliment.
I was like, oh, good.
That was a
So I
compliment.
had someone tell me one time that if everything is a choice, how you feel, how you feel is a choice. So
Yes.
someone can't make you feel a certain way. Oh, you hurt
Absolutely.
my feelings. You.
Yes.
And it's your choice to feel that way. To
%.
Well, you validate their. If someone calls you a name, it's just words. And I'm not saying it's not heavy,
Right.
and words matter, but in reality, it's just words. You give them validation
Right.
by internalizing.
it's your
them.
choice to let it hurt you,
Yes.
Yeah, and
or to be indifferent toward it,
And
or
some-
to ignore it.
Right, and sometimes
Or
the
not
best
care.
way, and I'm not saying that you should stay in an environment that is giving you that kind of is distasteful. I'm not saying you stay in that environment, but if you have to for a period of time or it's a circumstance, the more the more validation you give to those words, the more you internalize it, the worse you're going to be. But you can't. But it's hard to teach indifference or help a younger person,
So
especially
don't
now, learn indifference.
don't you think it comes with maturity? Like me
Yes.
being, turning 53
Maybe-
a couple days ago. So like, if I knew what I do now back then, I can't even imagine what my life would be like.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
the maturity level that I have in my 50s
Yes.
is so different.
What about
I am so
you
so
care less
so indifferent.
and less what
Yeah.
other people think.
I do not give a shit.
consequences for people's words, or people's opinions of you? When you get older, you realize there really often aren't any consequences. But when you're younger, you think the whole world's staring at you. It's like your
No one
kid
gives
gets
a
embarrassed
shit.
by
Yes.
something, and you can't convince them that nobody cares. Even though they're living in a world that's instantaneous and they
Yeah.
move on, people move on constantly. No one's around to sit and make fun of you.
No.
When you got made fun of in the playground decades prior,
Yeah.
I mean, that was a scarring event. If you were the last kid picked in for a game, or you make the big error in the baseball game or football game or something. Kids can be cruel. I was one of those kids getting picked on, and I was one of those kids who also picked on. So I remember. But how you instruct that child to deal with that really matters. And I'm telling you, I didn't get good instruction. Love my parents to death, but I didn't get good instruction on how to deal with that. And I carried baggage into my teens and in my 20s, and it wasn't until life experience just taught me all of a sudden, you know what? I don't really care. These people aren't paying my bills.
Yeah. And
I just don't give a shit.
And I think once you realize that your happiness is a choice, it really changes.
Exactly.
Like,
Oh
I
my
say that
God.
every day. Like, I wake up every day. I said, I can choose to have a good day or a bad day, but it's fucking my decision. And if I want to have a bad day, that's okay. Like, I can have. There's not every day where I'm perfect. There are days where I'm stressed and just pissed off. But that's a choice I made to feel that emotion that day.
Yeah.
90% of the time, I'm like, I fucking love what I do. I work with cool people. I have fun. I'm healthy. I have a great life. I'm happy. Like, it's. And I look at, like, growing up, like, our parents were different. They were a different generation. Like, they were just focused on raising us, not necessarily teaching us these personal development things. So what I try and do with my kids, like, I work on affirmations with them.
Right.
Like, every night before they go to bed and every day before they leave for school, I say, what are you? And they say, smart, confident, amazing, beautiful, kind, and strong. Like, every single morning and every single night, because I want to put that in their head. That's who you choose to be. And I think people need to understand what you be and how you operate in the world and how you feel is completely within your control.
No doubt.
The book by Jack Campbell, the Success Principles, the biggest, and we've talked about on this show many times, but that one formula changed my life. E plus R equals O. An event plus a reaction equals an outcome, and you always control one of the variables, either the event or how you react to it.
Exactly.
So you always control the outcome. So you can always control your happiness.
I think one of the greatest things I've done with both of my girls is teach them confidence.
Yes,
And resiliency.
absolutely.
Like, that is so important.
Yes.
My kids, like, I have an older daughter who's married, and I have a 16-year-old. They can walk into a room and own the room.
Right.
Look you in the
That's
eye.
huge.
And they can do
right.
they can do anything they want to
That's
do.
it.
They have that confidence,
Yeah.
that air about them.
In that self-respect, in that just
Absolutely.
self-belief. Like, my son's 20, like, he's confident and he's a kind kid, and my daughters are 12 and 8, and they're the same way. Like my goal as a parent is to teach them to be good, kind human beings.
Exactly.
Like that's what I want them to be. And I think if you're a good, kind human being, confidence is a byproduct.
Yeah.
Because it's just like I never had to tell Gabe, my son, like, be confident, be a man. It's just be a good human being. Treat people with kindness, whoever they are, wherever they are, no matter what station in life they're in.
No matter what they're doing.
Exactly. And work harder than everybody else, like work ethic.
Yeah.
And that just, by doing those things, he just became the confident kid he is. And my daughter's the same way. And I think that's what society needs more of. I think people need to start understanding that your emotion, your happiness is completely within your control. Stop looking for reasons why you're not happy.
Exactly.
Everybody's
they're
looking
so
for it.
kids, and I say kids, I don't know, I'll take it all the way up to 30 years old. We'll say 30 and under. There's so many distractions now.
Yes.
I couldn't handle it. I mean, I don't know how I would be as a 25-year-old person in this, but I'm saying they're being pulled and tugged, and so many people / organizations are vying for their attention. Now they go to it willingly. We give them the devices to do it. We put them in circumstances.
It's been 4 months since my kid has had a tablet or screen or video game.
Impressive. It's
They
impressive.
still watch some cartoons. Usually I try to put on,
How old
the
are
better
they?
stuff. 5 and 2.
Okay.
But they have not touched a video game or a tablet. I keep saying when it's really, really cold out, we're going to do limited screen time. But it wasn't going well for them. I thought it made them angrier. And so...
Yeah.
I think it would be really hard having little kids now in the screen time, because my youngest is 16.
Right.
My older daughter, we didn't have that.
We've been doing Play-Doh. Like, we do a lot of Play-Doh. Like,
It's definitely
It was
tough.
in my
It is
carpet
tough.
yesterday. I wasn't happy, but...
We try and find the balance, because like our kids are, they're in activities, they dance, they play softball, they get good grades, so it's like, and they like their iPads. You don't want to punish them, but
No.
so we try and find the balance of
And they're
letting
older.
them.
I mean, mine's 5 and 2.
Yeah, right, true, absolutely. I mean, they're 8 and 12, but even when they were younger, it was always, because there would be times where like Laura and I would lose her shit, like if they weren't listening, we're like, no iPads all week, and then they would lose their shit, and then it'd be like a battle for 4 days. Then the ship rights itself, and it's a constant, ebb and flow. But I think, to your point, like there are so many distractions now, so I don't know how, but again, I think where the education system has gone wrong, right? We're not teaching kids about self-development and self-awareness and those soft skills that you need to navigate adulthood. And I think they're coming out, you leave college and you're thrown out in the world, like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
Like, how do I, like, when I graduated college and then went into law school, like, I had thank God I picked up that book, The Success. That's the first book I read, like, personal development.
Right.
If I didn't pick that book up, I would have been a fucking train wreck.
Right.
But it's like, I had to learn about that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everything's instant gratification.
That's the
too.
problem,
That's a
too.
huge
Yeah.
problem.
For
Absolutely.
everyone.
And for
Every
adults.
age.
And for adults.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, the back to the children for a second. Like, it's so unfair for us, for our age groups, to compare what they're going through compared to what we went through, because that technology spark in 96 with their 95 with this beginning of the mainstream of the internet, and then right around 07, 08 with the real proliferation of Facebook and the ones around it, the development of social media, those are obstacles within the framework of modern society that we did not have. It's unfair for us to expect them to have a more focused brain. It
you're right.
permeates in so many different ways. Like, we're, I think everybody here is a capitalist. We agree with capitalism, but I want to tell you something. I didn't go to the grocery store with my mother and see 120 different kinds of cereal when I was a kid. There's just more and more and more, and diversion tactics, and look at this bright light, look at this glittery gold thing, look at this, look at that, look at this. And you get Instagram now. It's a swipe culture, right? There's things rolling. It's a film strip in front of their eyes, and I'm just not convinced that we even understand, people in our 40s and 50s can even begin to understand what the teenage brain and maybe the preteen brain and kids in their 20s, what they deal with.
I would hate to be a teacher right now. So I'll occasionally do like teacher for a day. So I'll go teach economics or personal finance or something at a school. Like maybe one of my friends is teaching that class and they'll ask me to come in as the banker. So I've done that a bunch of times. So, and I won't do it anymore because the kids are on their phone. I'm standing up in the front. They're on their phone. They're not looking at me. No one's listening to me. You know, I'm like, Bueller. Nobody.
They have no idea what that even means.
None.
Best movie ever.
But no one is.
It
no
did
one.
age well.
Yeah, it did.
So finally, I got this idea that I was going to do like a play. We did skits, you know. So I didn't ask. Okay, you're gonna be Joe, and you're gonna be Sally. So and then everyone's like, what? Huh?
Like, oh shit.
And it got to be funny. Then you know we
Scared the
did
hell
these
out of
like
them.
different skits about saving money, you know, for rent or you know, I'm trying to teach them credit and you know trying to relate to them somehow, you know.
But we can't.
Instead
That's
of standing
the
there
reality.
lecturing, hey, this is going to be important one day,
Yeah.
you know, but trying to do it in a funny way, you know, and capture their attention because literally they're on their phone. Kids are allowed to be on their phone in high school.
That's crazy.
In class.
That's crazy. That to me blows my mind. That
I
they're
would
able to
lose
do
my
it.
shit on Lily
Yeah.
if she was on her phone in class, not
I
paying
didn't know
attention.
that. I know they're allowed
Yeah,
to. I didn't know. My kids weren't allowed to. That I don't think so.
You know, my daughter will call me. She will FaceTime me
in middle class.
5-10 times a day
That's nuts.
Wow.
in school.
You couldn't even have a pager back
So
in
she
my,
was in
my day.
She was in outdoor pursuits trying.
taking that.
She's in a class where they're teaching you how to like tie knots and
Okay.
like make a tent in case you're stuck in the woods or something. And you know, FaceTiming me and her teacher's like standing nearby telling her something and. You know,
Advanced
it's
basket weaving.
shocking.
Well, and the thing with FaceTime too, like I notice it. And not that my daughter does it a lot, but they'll talk to their friends on FaceTime, but they won't talk. They'll just be on FaceTime and just doing their own shit in their rooms, but they just happen to be watching each other.
It's
like they're
reality
not having.
TV.
That's
It
that
really is,
YouTube
yeah.
thing where kids watch each other play, which is the weirdest thing I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
Oh my
Well,
gosh,
and
Ryan.
those fucking kids make a lot of money.
Hurts my
I
life.
heard that. I heard
mean,
that.
ridiculous amounts of money. Like, I remember my daughters watching kids unbox toys. I'm like, what are you
Yeah.
watching? Unboxing. And then I started looking at these people. I'm like, how much do these people make?
Well, no, that's like
Millions of dollars making videos. I'm like, I'm going to start buying these motherfuckers toys.
Yeah.
And we're going to take some videos and we're going to see what we can do with this.
that. It's consistency,
Then it's
though,
like,
with
no,
that.
that's the problem because they wanted to start a YouTube channel
And then
years
they do
ago.
it 2 weeks, and
We
then they're dead.
we made 3 videos, and then I realized
Yeah.
that I'm the one that has to edit them. I'm like, your YouTube channel already off the ground.
No,
Sorry, girls.
it's true,
These are
like-
cute videos. We're going to keep them, but
Oh
they're
my
not
god!
going to be on YouTube.
Like I was at home with my son, and I was making like how to make pureed peas and like all these ridiculous
Well, that's the
mom
problem. That's
videos.
just- that's not a
but
good
I
video.
went back and like I had like a baby.
Pureed peas.
Oh my god! I pureed all the food. I was ridiculous.
Kids
So I was
don't wanna
home,
watch
so
that. They don't even wanna
like,
eat peas, let alone watch you
like
puree them.
pureed bananas.
Like
and,
hummus.
here's how you do this. And then I started just, I was like, well, I'm going to just, I didn't have a job, okay, guys? I was really bored when he was fucking
We're
on.
sorry.
And I,
All you got to do is open toys
but
on
I
video,
did a
apparently.
baby
That's it.
bouncer, right?
Okay.
A baby bouncer, and I love it. There's one, it's from Target, has little koalas now. I think it's switched, but oh my gosh, it's totally the best.
Okay.
I went back, 20,000 people have watched that video of
Oh my
that
God.
bouncer. I go, why didn't I do every like, here is this thermometer.
Oh, I'm
like,
convinced.
Just
Yeah.
all the time. Like,
find
just
a
do
niche.
something. It's
well,
amazing.
Yeah, I do.
Like,
I do believe you
it
could
is.
put
It's
really
amazing.
amazing content out there.
So my daughter now,
They want to watch it.
my
Put that shit
16-year-old
out there.
she gets her phone on record ahead of time.
Okay.
And then does something super rude to me. So I swear. Or I say something stupid. Or what
Oh,
the F.
you got
Or,
bait.
you know, she
You got
baits
baited.
me
That's
totally.
great.
Pretty funny.
What's
That
that
is
show
very
with
funny.
I
Pam?
feel like I need to do that.
If she could like do a compilation of these and put
That's
that on YouTube,
hilarious.
it is. She got a carnival goldfish. I told her you cannot get a fish. No.
I don't even want to
So
talk about
I was
fish.
sleeping. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and she came home from the carnival, and I was on the couch sleeping. And I wake up to this fish. She's waving it over my face. So I was like,
That would only happen once.
it's thing out of my face. So, you know, I'm like freaking out, like, you know, get the F out of
Oh,
my
yeah.
face, you
That's
know,
the
blah, blah,
best.
blah.
Yes.
But she's got her phone.
She's
you
gonna-
know,
she's
so she
gonna-
immediately, you know, they Snapchat that stuff
She's
or
gonna-
send
she's
it out.
gonna
Immediately,
blackmail you.
immediately it's out to like
Yep.
100 people. I was like, you don't realize how many people could see that and forward that and forward that and forward that.
Just
I'm
had
gonna
this
get fired.
conversation today with my daughter.
I'll tell you a funny story about Snapchat. So, what was it? 2 or 3 years ago, I was part of this company. We would go do social media training, and myself and Will Allen went and spoke at the University of Pittsburgh to their football team on like media training, like he was talking about like as a pro athlete, like the stuff he dealt with. I was talking about the legal side, and we got to Snapchat and we were talking, and I was talking about like how I said, you guys all understand in this room, right? Those don't go away. Like you think they disappear, but they're on a server, and you can subpoena them if you do something inappropriate. Every dude in that room was like, what the fuck? Like, they had no idea. So I started talking about, like, hey, sending, dick pics, like, inappropriate shit. At least 15 guys came up to me after the talk and were like, are you being serious? Can they really get that stuff? Like, what would happen if I sent it to a girl that's under 18? Or, like, kids are doing some fucked up shit, and they don't realize it. When I said it, and I saw the look on all of it, was a look of pure fear. So I'm thinking to myself, what are you guys fucking sending on Snapchat to people? Because they were like panicking. And I said, you understand, like, if you don't want your mother to see it, don't send it. Like, I remember saying that to my son. I said, assume everything you send over social media, over anything, you or me or your mother will see. So if you're going to send an inappropriate picture, assume I'm going to see it. Mm-hmm. And it's just
I
like
broke
crazy.
up with a guy over him sending me one. I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, oh my.
Well,
why do guys think that's a good idea?
Let's unpack this one.
it's the dumbest idea.
Unpack.
Let's I mean, of course I'm going to walk into that, right? Okay, so I was made aware years ago that women are always on the defensive, and this was during the online dating portion of my life 10 years ago. That women are always on the defensive because there's always men messaging them. Now, again, I'm naive, right? I'm thinking that the dating scene is like a level kind of playing field. Like, I just assumed that there's communication. I never thought that basically men were prowling on these women.
Oh, yeah.
Until I saw some of the inboxes from the women I would date. They would say, look at this. And I just was blown away.
Asking for a pic, or...
It was asking for a pic or just annoying them or sending genital pics, or it was just nuts. The shit was, and this is 2010. So I was really at that moment fascinated.
Do you really want to date a woman who would easily send you her boobs?
No.
I mean, honestly.
No
that's
chance.
not what.
No,
that's
no
not
chance.
what.
No,
Not what
no
I was
chance.
looking for. No,
not a chance.
So why?
I find it funny.
I mean,
but no.
I mean,
No.
who are these women who are doing this, first of all? And the guys, I mean, surely they don't want to date you. Like, date you.
No, there's no ring getting put on anybody's finger in that instance.
No.
It's all what you want, and that's like I found the online dating thing interesting, but so impersonal. Like I felt like I was at the I don't know how would you say it, the futures market in Chicago on the big board looking at cattle and
just swiping.
Just kind of. Well, this is well before that was even around. There was just Match.com, and there was eHarmony.
What's the other one? Oh, Plenty of Fish. Don't.
2010.
If they don't pay for it, you're like, what?
I always knew if the
this?
woman was paying on Match.com, because it would be like, if they weren't paying, it was a free account. There was one photo.
Right.
If there was one photo, no matter if she looked like Farrah Fawcett,
No, my problem with
I
Match.
wasn't reaching out.
So I was a matcher back in the day before.
A matcher.
And I was on Match. And then I started just seeing all my guy friends that I went to like college with, and they
That's
were on
awkward.
Match. And we're all like,
That's
Yeah.
awkward.
well, if you're on, I mean, I guess maybe should we go on a date? Like, I don't know. We're all so desperate. Like, at this, like, it's bad. It was. When you're like all in your 30s and you're on Match and you're like, no, and you're like, hey,
Try
I'm
it in
on
your
too.
40s.
Like,
Try it in
I
your
don't
40s.
think I don't think I can do it.
dating in your
couldn't.
50s.
I
Look,
couldn't
you
imagine.
need
So
to.
let's go down
That's
this.
frightening.
You look
Let's go
frightening.
down. Let's go
Frightening.
No,
down
you look
this.
awesome.
It's frightening.
No, I don't.
can't.
I just no.
So
Those,
now let's really take a different spin on this for a second, because I think we can have an interesting conversation here. So so I'll speak as the oldest in the room. I remember adult dating as a kid And it was usually like somebody's cousin's uncle or the guy down the street that happens to live in a small apartment or whatever. You never see a wife around. And my idea of dating as looking at adults do it was kind of weird, kind of creepy. So I would always picture like the end of a strip mall. There's like a little lounge that would have a neon sign that says bar, and you'd go in there and there'd be a bunch of people sitting in round like vinyl booths with like mutton chops and wide lapels and
just ordering beer.
drinking Colt 45 or drinking like whiskey on the rocks. And,
Okay.
And I think of like Steely Dan playing in the background, right? I mean, just that's the vibe of 70s adult dating, right? And we've come so far from that, right? But they had it easier then. I really think they had it easier then. Yes, it was harder to meet people, I guess. There was obstacles.
Okay.
You'd hang out in the grocery store, or you'd go places where where else are you going to mingle,
Watch out
right?
for the
guess,
mangoes.
yeah.
The mangoes, yeah.
Pineapples.
Gotta stay
Now
away from the mangoes.
now you can reach anybody anytime. So, but it was probably easier then. It probably took a little more courage back then.
Sure.
But there was something beautiful about the process of dating to me
Okay.
that I think is kind of lost, at least initial dating back when it was more quote unquote traditional in the maneuver. I don't know if I like, like I got a taste of it in 2010, but if I had to go out there today, I think I'd probably become a priest.
It's not fun. So COVID dating was fun.
Let's talk about COVID
COVID
dating.
dating
Oh, yes,
was
please.
really
Do
interesting.
COVID dating.
Do tell.
COVID
COVID
dating.
Please enlighten us.
COVID dating, it involved lots of texting, emails, some phone calls, some a lot of talking. I guess that was kind of good because
Did you Zoom call?
No,
It was like high school.
No. What was weird was like my sister and I talk about this too because my sister's single. So you would talk to someone for a long period of time because of COVID. You couldn't meet anyone. So you would talk to this person. And these are people that I knew maybe from school, from like high school or, Facebook friends, or because I wasn't doing online dating or anything like that. But you would meet, so you would talk for a month, 2 months or something. And then you would meet that person.
Be like, got your vax.
And you're like, shit. Like when you meet them,
Wanna
so
meet?
you're like already invested in this situation where you're talking to this person, and they're so cool, and you're interested in them, and they're interested in you, and you all these things in common, and then you meet.
So
and
let me ask a question. So what happens when you meet and you're like, oh shit? Like what's that oh shit moment? If you got that, I'm curious because if you're that far invested, right, and you meet them in person, it's just
it's a disappointment because they're not what you thought they were. Like, because people can be one way behind
100%,
a cell phone
absolutely.
or a text message, but when you meet them in person,
So you didn't Zoom anybody?
no,
Why?
FaceTime.
no,
Why?
no.
But you
I don't
knew
know.
what
see.
they looked like through Facebook.
I would have.
How the fuck do people
Yeah.
date through
But
Facebook?
Yeah,
so
I
you
I
have
get messages. I honestly
I
get
get
messages in Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Yeah, I do too.
So dudes would just
Quite
literally
often.
message you,
Yes.
and say,
They'll be like, "You look.
hey.
By the way, you look really, really gorgeous. So if you ever want to go out," I'm like, "Oh, no.
lot of people-
I don't know them.
Just
I
listen
don't.
to that.
I
You
barely
look
know
really,
them.
really gorgeous. So, if you want to go out with me, that has got to be the most asinine statement I've ever heard.
Right.
Like, where did you qualify that she had something to gain by dating you?
Well, I think people do.
I don't
like,
get it.
Right.
They
They don't
do
know
the
what to
segue.
say.
People do a segue a lot too.
They're like compliment and then
Example,
wrap
please.
it into.
Oh, yeah,
Let's-
please
let's,
give
let's
us-
unpack
Let's
this.
flesh
Let's
this out,
unpack
right.
this a
Well,
little bit.
it's always a segue for me,
A
like
segue.
I wanna know a
something
like a
segue.
a
segue.
segue, something, yeah, right, driving around, right.
Would you like
I
to
got
go on a
my-
date?
It's always something in common, and I do this,
Okay.
and I'm guilty of this in business.
Okay.
Because I'll look around your room
Yeah.
and find something
Yeah, that's
that I
smart.
can
Smart.
talk
That's salesmanship.
right, that I can talk
Yes.
to you about.
It's association.
That's smart.
But that's what people do, like I have
Association
doodles,
seeking.
so someone will text me, hey, I didn't know you had doodles, and start talking to me about the doodles. Oh, where do you like to walk your doodles?
That's
oh,
a
do you
little.
walk your doodles
See, when
here?
it's virtual, it's kind
know.
of stalking. That's a little bit of stalking to me.
It is. So when you're dating, like during COVID, there was nowhere to go.
Right.
So
Yeah, nothing was open.
I did a lot of walking. I mean, a lot.
Like walking
meet at the dog. Take my dog to meet somebody. Walking, on trails.
So how'd that work?
You know,
How'd those good dates go?
some of them went well, but you tend to open up a little too much. Like people, you're
that
telling
girl.
somebody you're
just
exactly.
kidding.
Someone's telling you their life history and all about them. And on this like 10-mile walk, so you just start talking. I mean, like
for 10 miles,
serious
fuck that.
walk. I mean, I've done some
That's
serious,
a serious
walking,
walk.
right?
10 miles is a serious
dude,
walk.
there's a lot of time to kill, so you're talking and talking.
Nothing else to do.
And plus,
Right,
when you're
yes.
when you're
But that's a
walking,
good
you're not
thing.
you're
I
not face
figure-
to face with someone either. They're next to you.
Got it.
So you can just you're
But
saying
within
what you
6
want.
feet.
Yeah,
Right.
you're
Social
saying
distance.
you're not. You don't see that emotion, and you're not like. They don't see me
There's
rolling
no
my eyes.
There's no distractions.
that face.
Yeah.
Wow. I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine.
I put myself in like a self-imposed exile before COVID. So when COVID happened, it didn't
was
change
like-
my life at all.
So an exile
I've
from
heard that
dating.
before. Yeah, someone else told me
I
that
was
too.
Exile
That
from
didn't
dating
matter.
or from
Just life. So I just
you
decided
just hold up by
Yeah.
yourself for a
Yes.
while.
Yes. So
Interesting.
with my family and stuff, but I just decided like I don't know if I like what I'm putting out there. Like I don't think I like myself right now. I think I'm annoyed with myself. Do you
I
ever
get
get
that.
annoyed with
I get
yourself?
that. No, I get
I
that.
was
Yeah,
like totally-
absolutely.
How does one become annoyed with themselves?
Because
I can annoy myself.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
I was just getting angry over stupid things or just being a shit,
Yeah.
like I was just like annoyed with myself. So I thought I need to take a break, a reset. So I
Yeah.
kind of like
I get
just was in a self-imposed exile. So
Okay.
so COVID hit and then I was involved with those PPP loans too. So we were working from home. So when COVID hit, everybody was bored, got to watch Tiger King, cook a bunch of shit, like do everything that they couldn't
Yep.
do for their whole lives that
Yep.
they've been waiting to do. Not me. We were doing 12-hour days, 7 days a week, working,
Yeah.
so for me, COVID
So you had work.
COVID was a blur to me,
Yeah.
literally. I mean, I was able to do
Yeah.
some things, in the very beginning and then not until like late summer.
Okay. Okay.
But COVID dating was weird, like for sure.
But it wasn't really dating. Like what
No.
qualifies dating?
It was
What
not
is dating?
It was
today?
not dating.
Dating is
Yeah, that's a
going
good
to a
question.
place outside of your home together with a person whom you have an attraction to.
One time, is that
That
considered
you
you
have
dating
an,
that person?
that,
You went
that
on a
you,
date.
wait,
You've
wait,
been
wait,
on a
that you
date.
have
Okay.
an attraction
Dating
to.
is more than one date.
I did a date where we drove around. We went to like a
You
function.
got in some guy's car?
Well,
Girl.
I'd been talking to that person. I'd met for like lunch and stuff, like COVID lunch.
Oh, was it like
masked
a
up.
first date?
Her problem doesn't occur until she stops the car.
Totally. No, but dating with a mask on is
That was
super weird
pre-show.
too because
That's weird.
I mean, you're like
couldn't
walking
handle
in
it.
with a mask on.
Come on.
I wore a clear mask for a while, and then I felt awkward, like I was going to be a surgeon, so I stopped doing that.
Oh, wait a minute.
I hate them all.
Rewind. You wore the face shield?
I did. My cousin Stacy
I
got
get
them
it.
for her and her daughter first,
can't.
and they let you
Yeah.
breathe. But then they were like, "Now you
How
have to
do
wear the
you
mask."
kiss a significant other when the dating process? How do you have that first kiss if you feel inclined to? Like, how do you like?
I get very
does that
nervous.
work?
I get so nervous, and I'm very. I guess I'm confident and. I think I'm assertive in business, and I can talk to anyone, but I get really, really, really nervous when it comes time to kiss somebody for the first time. So generally I will run away. Like I will go to my car like first really fast. I remember this one person
Bye.
told me that I was like the road runner. Like just, as soon as we walked out of the restaurant, I was at my car.
Do you like start sneezing uncontrollably at them?
That's
Like, I'm
a
sorry.
good move.
Yeah.
That's a good move right
like
there.
like fake diarrhea or something.
I might have COVID. I might
Boogers
have
hanging
COVID.
down your
Yeah.
nose.
Sick
Oh my
stomach.
God! Facebook just shut down. I have to go.
Yeah, so I get nervous. I don't know why I get nervous. So I would just rather someone just like grab me and kiss me and just get it over with.
Does it feel like
Interesting.
you're like 15 years old again or
Yes.
14 where
Yes.
you feel like
For me.
you're just gonna miss and like get their nose or something?
me.
That was horrible. Do you remember that?
Yes.
When you were like young and you were like,
I've been married for like 15
I'm gonna
years.
miss. I'm gonna miss.
Did you ever bang someone's head by mistake?
How about like
No.
swapping gum when I was 12
Ew,
or something?
yeah.
That was so wrong.
That was
like
so gross.
we swapped gum. This my first
You know what? I
kiss.
think I might have partaken in such an activity when I was a kid.
No, there's no chance
You
I did
missed
that.
out.
Not
I think,
anymore.
no, I think I
That's
did. I think
foul.
I
And it
actually
was
did
did.
like-
it back as a kid. No.
Well, not.
I
it was
did
like
that.
Chewel gum.
I did that. What? Chewel.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
With that
Jewel?
stuff.
They had
It was
the,
so gross.
wait, that had the little like center that had the
Yeah.
gel in there or whatever.
It was so gross. Ew.
Wait, that juicy shit in the
Spearmint or
middle?
something.
Yeah, Jewel.
Yeah, Chul. Chul.
You shared that with dudes?
Of course, man.
I'm just-
I didn't share it with
I
dudes.
shared.
Why?
I
It was probably like Bubblicious
I shared it
or
with
something.
girls, but I didn't share it with
Mine
dudes.
was
That sounded
Trident
wrong.
original. It was like the blue Trident.
No,
That shit's
listen,
been around
you
forever.
You never.
Yeah.
Listen, you have not lived until you taken Coca-Cola with sugar, not corn syrup, the original Coca-Cola,
Okay.
ice, and you got spearmint bubble yum. You chewed that and you drank the Coke with that. That is the closest you ever come to an orgasmic taste bud effect.
I like
Unbelievable.
vanilla ice cream and Diet Pepsi.
You can't do it anymore, but I'm saying they don't make that shit anymore.
They do, Mexican Coke.
Spearmint, yeah, Mexican
Coke has real cane sugar.
Spearmint bubble yum.
Bubble
The
yum.
amount of sugar probably entering your system as a 12-year-old
Yeah.
was probably enough to kill a horse, but it was unfreaking believable.
Huh.
It was
Did
a
not
thing.
know this.
It was a thing.
I learned something new every show.
Spearmint bubble yum.
I'll
Yes.
probably never have a chance to do that, but
I know.
I
They
will
still make
take
that
it.
shit? Bubble yum?
I'm sure you could find it.
Bubble yum. What was
There's
the
like
other
an
one?
old
There was
pack on
bubble
eBay
yum
somewhere.
and there was Hubba
Hubba
Bubba.
Bubba. Hubba
Hubba
Bubba was
yeah.
the best.
Hubba
That was-
Bubba.
That was my favorite gum as a kid. Hubba Bubba and Big League Chew. Those were my
I
two
have-
favorite gums.
Yeah, but the flavor was gone
in
Big
30
League Chew.
seconds. 30 seconds.
On
But
a-
it was good.
On a random trip to Office Max, I had to buy myself.
Wait, there's still Office Max? Those things
I have to
exist?
drive to Upper St. Clair to get copies right now. By the way, if you have any businesses in the South Hills near the Bridgeville area and you'd like to print me some copies, that would be great.
You know we have a coffee
you.
machine at the office.
I'm not
FYI.
gonna. That's a lot of lights to go to Carnegie. I just
You're
sitting
there.
in
You're a lot of
traffic.
lights, Rocco.
You come to our office like twice a week. You know, you can just like print them
Oh.
while you're there or copy them. We have a big
You
machine
heard
that
it here,
does that.
folks. Anyway, but I was going to the Office Max down in Upper St. Clair, which you don't want to go to right now.
On a
'cause there's-
date?
No, we're talking about gum.
Oh.
I moved on to
She's
gum.
dating the
anyway,
coffee guy down there.
I had to
Likes weird
buy
shit.
a whole container like the size of a baseball full of Chiclets gum because I was like, I just need this for the
Chiclets. That's
office.
good. That's good.
It was an
God,
office
Chiclets.
purchase. So if you ever come to the office,
Do you remember the marathon candy bars?
No.
They were like shaped like a rope or
No.
whatever.
Yeah.
No.
They
It
were
looked,
something, man.
It looked like DNA, right?
Yeah, they
The
were
best
something.
candy bar of all time was the whatchamacallit, and no one can argue
No,
me.
the milkshake candy bar. They
No.
were you only buy those at sporting events.
Whatchamacallit,
Milkshake.
hands down.
$100,000 bar.
Frozen. Yeah, they're good. They were good.
Hmm.
You freeze a milkshake bar, you've never had an experience like that.
I don't even know what a milkshake bar is.
Yeah, because you're too old.
I don't
It's
know.
young.
Too young, man.
Sorry.
I don't know
How
what that
about,
is.
how about a mallow cup?
I had a
those
big
were terrible. Those
mallow
are
cup.
marshmallows.
No, see, hold on,
I
Rocco.
love
We're
those.
letting
Me
them, we're
too.
letting them off the hook here on the
Yeah, I know.
the
We
dating
got
thing.
off
We're not
topic.
we're not going to send not let you get down to candy.
What are you guys trying to do here?
I'm
Just
trying to
understand.
understand exactly what it is absolutely like right now in 2021 in this social media drenched society we're in to actually conduct a date.
I think people bullshit one another and tell people what they think they want to hear instead of being real.
Okay.
Okay,
Plus,
and
you
that's a
know,
byproduct, obviously, of social media.
That's what I
a
think.
virtual world.
Just be
I get it.
yourself.
Be authentic.
And what if they don't
because
know?
it's going to come out
But listen,
eventually.
but what if 2021? What if now people kind of don't know
Who they are? Then I wouldn't want to
In
go. I
reality.
wouldn't want to be around them.
good
Then.
See,
point.
this
That's a
is
good point.
reality.
Yeah, that's a
this
good point.
sitting down having a conversation.
Is it?
This is reality.
Yeah.
So I'm like a year and a half separated right now. And just you talking about dating and us, I'm like cringing the whole time. I'm like, oh, God.
Well, you're not ready
like,
yet.
I'm not.
You're in the healing process.
I've been divorced
Yeah.
for 10
Yeah.
years.
It's something
She's
I
not
like
ready
to.
yet either.
10 years.
I think it's something I like to think of, but then whenever I think of the reality of it, I remember.
Is it
dating.
messy? Is it icky? Is it something you don't want to do? Is it like?
I
Is
just.
I think it's interesting because sometimes you're dating someone and you realize that that's a really good, you can be really good friends with that person and not
Okay.
date them anymore. So that's what's cool, that I've met some great people that I've stayed friends with.
Yeah, well,
I've met
if
some
you can make
people-
that work,
right?
absolutely.
I've met some people that I would absolutely not want to ever talk to again, for sure. But, lots of life lessons. That's what I kind of like take from the dating, people have given me some great advice.
How many people did you meet in the COVID dating experience? Different people. Do you have a number? We're not going to judge.
82.
That's a lot of people.
Close.
Holy
Close.
shit. 82?
No. Just a couple.
Okay, so let's say a handful, 5.
Yeah, just a couple. And you know, some people I just talked to, maybe, and never saw. Some people I saw
right on.
quickly and like saw and then
Ran.
never saw again.
So what is that break like? Like, okay, so you talk on... So COVID starts and you're out there, right? Like you didn't partake in this, right? You're
I did
just kinda,
not.
You're trying to like, you're spending a lot of personal
I've
time.
said
right?
I go, I would be open to a flirtation right now.
Flirt. Okay.
But the actual thought of like doing all the work to date and like having
know
to
what a flirt
follow up and like
It's a lot of work.
I'm just not.
But
I have a
would-
lot going on. So
I debate that point. And again,
Okay.
I have nothing to debate it because I don't date. But I feel like when when I was younger and dated Laura and girls before her, like you spent a lot of time trying to learn about the person. Now I feel like you can.
Generally, yeah.
So a lot of that work up front is trying
If
to
you
understand.
cared.
And now I feel like
yes.
it's like you can find out about someone in 30 seconds, like everything you need to know about that person.
I think it's important to find out. Like
Everything?
I had dated
lot.
someone for a while and
Okay.
never knew basic things about this person. You know?
You don't say.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
So what
basic
exactly are you
things.
referring to?
but I feel like
I'm actually referring to someone that I'm actually referring to someone else, but I didn't know where this person like grew up and I mean, we've been dating a long time and didn't know the basic things. I think
Like,
I
this is
think
like a
what-
COVID
I
thing?
think- no,
so was
this
this
is right
person
before
really
COVID.
good looking or something? Like were you busy like making out? Like you're like I don't really need to know
I
about your
think,
life.
I think
'cause-
we both were, we
She's
both
just
were
starved
dealing
over here
with
for not
like
dating. She's
both dealing with some
She just wants some details.
we were dating. We had some custody issues, both
Holding
of
my
us.
own
So
hand.
I think like when you're going through a custody issue or a divorce
Sure,
or whatever,
yeah.
your
Yeah, yeah.
whole like your life becomes that, which
Yes.
is hideous.
Yes. Sure.
You know, it's hideous. So that's what you talk about, and then you become custody buddies. And that and it morphs into
Yeah,
hey,
custody
did you
buddy.
hear what so and so said? And guess what he said? And guess what she said? And it's just
Yes.
it becomes.
And now we as adults have become teenagers.
Yes.
Because that's what
Yes.
social media, I think,
Yes.
has done to
yeah,
us.
Sure.
I would rather get to know someone, understand them, see, what
The old
makes.
school dating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
that's what I
always-
like. And
Yeah.
if they don't care to find out anything about me,
Yeah.
next.
So is it
Next.
just
Right, yeah,
so,
absolutely.
so
Oh, yeah,
are
that's-
adults
that's
becoming
easier
more
now.
superficial on the dating
Yes.
front now
Yes. I don't
because
know
of
that.
social
Yes.
media?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think just in general, not just in the dating scene. I think people are putting up their highlight reel, and
That's to be expected, though.
and authenticities took the back seat.
I prefer
think
I
that's what's
prefer to
happening.
get to know
Yeah.
to,
Agreed,
to have
Rocco.
relationships and get to know someone personally
Yeah.
and understand them and bond with them that way, and then see if I have a relationship with them. That's,
Yeah.
that's
even
what
as
I like.
even as
100%,
friends, like even developing new
100%.
friendships.
Exactly.
I don't like cool. I want to talk to you. Like I even when we take on clients. Like I don't want to meet
Mm-hmm.
a client over the phone. I want to meet them face to face. I want to look you in the eye, make
Absolutely.
sure we gel. We have to
Yeah,
like each
the
other
eyes are-
if we're gonna work together.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that's important, and I think that's the problem with social media, though, right? I think people think they can develop a relationship through an online platform, but it's an artificial relationship. I think
Yes.
you can't develop a true human relationship and human interaction until you meet a person face to face, talk to a person face to face, and are genuinely curious about that person.
That's why if you're talking to people for a long time before you actually meet them, then you can be disappointed because you're getting
Yeah, I
in front
get
of them
that. I
face
get
to
that.
face, and you're like, oh shit, like.
But then you bring up the catfish
He's
effect.
got rainbow suspenders.
and I'm not mentioning any names, but somebody I know was talking to somebody for a very long time and did not meet them. And this person said they were this and looked like this, and they turned out to be a very obese person. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that was not. They were chiseled.
They weren't sold that.
They've
I've had-
sold that, and that they were totally the opposite
They were
person. And
catfished.
that devastates the person who's thinking they're
Of
this
course.
other
I've had people-
person.
Of course.
I've had people say to me, "Oh my God, you look exactly like your picture." I'm like, on
Of course I
Facebook
do.
or something, because I don't
Of
do.
course I do.
I don't do like online dating, but like
Yeah.
if someone saw my picture on Facebook or something and they're like, I can't believe you look like your picture.
Thanks.
Who the hell? I mean,
the sad part is
That is sad.
that's a statement made that shows you the state we're in as
No
a
doubt.
society. Like
That's so sad. That's so sad.
The people are expecting you to not
Lie
look
to
like.
them.
They're expecting you to be deceitful. Like that's Like think about just zoom out a little bit on that statement. Think about what that says about society. People's natural reactions to think people are being deceitful. Like
Yes.
if you think about that, like that, the natural reaction to that statement is you're deceitful. I appreciate that you're not.
I mean, that's
It's
what we thought
reversed.
about.
Yeah, like that's fucked up. Like that's completely fucked up.
it's true.
I don't know, because I still really try to trust before I don't trust. But online, I
still
don't
use
trust.
your
I don't
college
trust
picture.
before I trust. That one time.
First Holy Communion picture.
I am an admitted
That's
Instagram.
Mandi?
I'll throw it through the Instagram filter. I'm
I'm
going to.
I'm kidding.
But generally speaking, I don't care. Like
Right.
I'm gonna show whatever. Like I'm. If you're on my social media, you are too. I'm gonna do something stupid on purpose on there, and I don't care.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, who
Like-
gives a shit?
Right. I
Just
want
be
someone
real.
to know I watch Beavis and Butthead.
Right
Totally.
on.
Yeah.
One of the greatest cartoons of all time.
Thing
Absolutely.
is,
So
the
good.
thing is, I think some lights went out. You know me, OCD.
They were flickering.
Yeah, I'm sure I kicked them out under the table. Where was I going with this now?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
We're talking about Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, that just got me all screwed up, and I saw lights.
Beavis
that
and
went out.
Butthead, by the way, all of the MTV classic shows were great.
I
back
found that
then.
the stupidest show I'd ever seen in my
I
life.
loved
I
it. I
tried to
loved
get.
it.
I tried
It was
to
so
get into
funny.
it, but
It was
it was.
pretty
I
funny.
didn't
So
find it
stupid, it was
funny.
funny.
Oh, I
though.
love it.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have
And
the
All
time.
right. Here's my question to you.
Okay.
So then Mike Judd created a series for Fox that I think is one of the greatest shows ever made, and that's King of the Hill, which is the.
It's funny.
It's funny.
funny.
Not
Yeah.
as funny as Beavis and Butthead.
No, not
I
a
don't
funny
think I
piece.
like
I
the
agree with you.
drive.
I agree with you.
I have the Time Life Beavis and Butthead DVD series.
Are you serious?
Oh my god!
I shit
Oh
you
my
not.
gosh.
That's impressive.
I shit
Remember those
you not.
commercials late at night, Time Life. So
That's impressive.
I do.
I will give you that.
wait. I'm so old
See,
that I remember.
that's a fun. That would go on your website
Yeah,
if
it'd be a
she
fun
worked
Do you
there.
remember?
Fun
You would have been very young. You'll remember this. Do you remember the commercial on either channel 22 or channel 53 late at night that was for the greatest hits of Yom Fear, the pan flute
I
artist?
thought
Yes.
I literally
oh
thought
my
you.
God.
I thought you said the greatest tits. I don't know why.
Now we all know that was Lonnie Anderson.
but-
I mean, come on now.
Where
That
did
goes
that
without
even
saying.
come from?
That's what it sounded like in the
We're
headphones to
talking
me.
about dating,
Sorry.
Beavis and Butthead,
Yom
and
Fear.
I'm like, what?
And,
Yeah.
his magical pan
women's
flute.
chests.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Those commercials were the best, though. And at the end of the commercial, after they would show the guy doing his songs, and the songs would all scroll in 1995, or and then when compact disc came out, or the CDs for $29.95 to Yom Fear P.O. Box so and so.
Oh, see, I bought Buzz Ballads and all of that off the TV. I had to. Then I
Ballads.
copied
Oh my
them all.
God.
Oh my god, I loved Buzz Ballads.
Oh my god.
That wasn't that long ago. That was like
That's
10 years
hilarious.
TV
ago.
was simpler, man. I
Jerry
mean, like in the
Springer
80s and
was
90s, you
on.
had. Remember when like the channel count went to like 50? I was like mortified. Like, oh my god, this is the baddest ass thing in the world. I never watched half that shit, but I knew I had it.
I literally watched 4
And now
channels.
there's hundreds of television. There's
Yeah.
so much television and nothing on.
And I watched
4
Mama's
channels.
Family.
I watched the Food Network.
Oh, you know
I
what
do
I'm
too.
watching?
I
Yeah.
do too.
I'm watching the Great British Baking
Man
Show.
versus food.
the
That's
whole
a,
thing
that's a
again.
great show. That dude had the best job. I'm like, I would love to just
Whatever
go around
happened?
the
And he
country.
got off the foot.
I think he. If
Yeah,
I read,
triple blood.
no, he got like real skinny.
Yeah,
he got
he
real
lost
skinny.
weight,
Lost
yeah.
a ton of weight.
Yeah, could you? I mean, how much? That was such gluttony.
Oh,
It was
that
like-
was
it was
gluttony
just-
for the sake of gluttony.
It was exactly. It was so
I would
gross.
love to spend 6 months just saying, like, you're gonna pay me to go and do these eating challenges. Fuck yeah, let's
You're gonna
do
pay
this.
me to get fat on
Cool.
television.
As long as
Yeah.
they pay for your personal trainer
Yeah,
when you're
exactly.
done.
Like, I'll do it for 6 months if you help me get it
Isn't
off.
there a place called the Heart Attack Cafe in Vegas?
Yeah. There is. I've done one of those eating challenges at a place in Clearfield, PA, called Denny's Beer Barrel.
And what did you eat?
It was a 2-pound hamburger.
Okay.
So I mean, I have a picture of it. So this is how terrible. This is
I
how
could
much
eat a
of an idiot
2-pound
I am.
hamburger.
No,
That's not-
I thought the same fucking thing.
No, that's a lot of
we
meat.
we drove from Philly. We went to the base. We stopped there on the way home, and it's literally the bun. The bottom and the top bun is like this big each. So it's this big.
Oh, that's
it's 2
ridiculous.
pounds
Oh
of
my
meat.
God.
It has a full head of lettuce, tomato, onions. Wait, so it has all this
full
stuff
head
on
of
it.
lettuce.
Full head of lettuce. A full
that would
head.
have got me right there.
Like 10 slices of cheese, So I order this, and I'm like, does this come with fries? Like, I asked, and she's like, honey, you're not going to need fries. I'm like, well, I kind of want fries.
You're gonna have the meat
I
sweats.
thought for sure. I'm like, I can eat a quarter pounder. I can eat 8 quarter pounders. I'm like doing the math in my head, thinking I'm going to destroy this thing. Like, I ate all the meat. Like, I did eat the 2-pound
The
burger.
bun did
It's
you
the
in.
bun.
The bun destroyed me. Now there was pictures on the wall. These like 100-pound Penn State
You should have
cheerleaders that
soaked
did
the
it.
bun. Did you ever see those guys eating
Yeah,
a
but I
hot dog
kind
and
of
they
wanted
soak
to. I
the bun?
kind of
It's
wanted
so
to
cheating.
enjoy
disgusting.
it,
It's cheating.
but I thought I was gonna die.
I don't know, like-
it was. So I would love to do those challenges, but I'm like, I don't know how these people do that, because I mean, there was still so much food left, and I literally slept on the floor in the backseat of the car on the way home from Clearfield, because I just felt like I was gonna die. Like, I was gonna have a heart attack. It was so bad. But I'm watching. I look at all these pictures. I'm like, how did these little motherfuckers eat this thing? Because they had a 2-pound one, then they had like a team one that was a 5-pound burger.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking to myself, what the fuck? And
I
I'm
don't
the
know.
asshole that
I
asked for
mean,
fries.
I'm pretty small, and I would say I eat regular. I do think I eat pretty well either way.
Okay.
But when it comes to buffets, like I was talking to you about this today.
Yeah.
Terrible
He
buffet,
told me
huh?
about a sushi buffet that I didn't know about, which I'm very
It's not
excited.
a buffet. It's all you can eat.
All you can eat, order from the table, which is even better. 'Cause
Correct.
It's probably more sanitary.
If it's all you can eat, it's
And
probably
probably
sanitary.
cool.
Just FYI.
You know, it's probably the right temperature.
You're
for-
eating raw fish,
Raw
man. Ain't
fish.
nothing sanitary about that at all.
So,
delicious, though.
but yeah, like a seafood buffet. I mean, I'm gonna go up a few times. Like, it gets pretty hairy for me, and I don't know what that is.
She's gonna
And I'm
have
proud
gout
of it.
by the end of the day.
Like, I would probably
I'm right
need
there
a
with you.
15-minute. Like, if everybody wasn't waiting for me to get done, I'd be like,
Yeah.
well, all right, I guess I'm done. Whatever.
Yeah,
But
no, I
mean,
get it.
can-
I get it.
I don't know. I do it like once
when
a
I,
year.
when I
It's
was
great.
young,
It's
there was a place
fantastic.
called Vincent's Pizza Pub, and it was in Green Tree. I don't know if
Isn't it still there?
Is it still
Oh,
there?
yeah.
It's
Phenomenal.
right there by, okay.
I used to live right by
They had
there.
this thing where they had a steak sandwich
Mm-hmm.
that was cut off of an entire loaf of Mancini's twist. They take the whole loaf of Mancini's twist, cut it in half.
Whoa.
Yep.
That was the bun. And I sat and watched a buddy of mine that he probably weighed 120, 115 destroy this thing. And in front of me, I've never been the same since. I still can't believe what I witnessed. But when he was done, he says, because I'd like to have a calzone, please. And he ordered a small calzone, ate that,
Oh my God.
and French fries.
Wow.
So, but that was the closest I ever sat, and that took an hour, a good solid hour for him to consume that. But this was like a ridiculous steak hoagie. There was about a whole head of lettuce on there. I mean,
I'm impressed by
Dude
people
was
who can
skinny
do
as
those,
shit.
do those
I used to
contests.
be able to
No.
house some food, man.
Really?
As
Yeah.
a
Oh, I
young,
could still
like
house
when
it.
I was thin, like in like little, like
You're
I mean
still
no, like
teeny.
like a kid, you know,
Okay.
like a
Yeah.
little kid.
Mm-hmm.
I used to put some pizza away.
I could house like 10 tacos easily.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about
So-
back in the day.
Tacos.
And,
Yeah,
and
that's
like
an afterthought.
pancakes, 11 pancakes. I mean, I could
pancakes
I
I
could
can't
eat.
do. Too heavy
I didn't
for
do
me.
Well,
like
you were growing.
I
I,
didn't
mean, your
eat-
body's
I could-
craving it.
I could eat until probably like early 20s. I would eat 3 racks roast beef
But what about
sandwiches
these
Racks. Holy
Easily.
shit, that's
these
a
class
blast
that
from
would
the
eat those
past.
hot, like you ever see those guys eat those like 300 hot dogs
Yeah, that's
in
insane.
31 minutes?
That's gross.
it's disgusting.
Yeah, that's.
How's
Now,
that?
now with
I
my
want to actually enjoy the food I'm eating. Like I don't want to dip a hot dog in water and just swallow it. Like that just
It's
sounds gross.
disgusting. Yeah.
Not a skill I aspire to have.
It makes you want to throw
could've
up
went-
watching
that could've
it.
went a
Like,
million
it
different
does,
ways.
yeah. Like I want to throw
As
up
that
4
came
men.
out of my head, I'm like, I hope
I
no
think
one
I'm the
really
wrong
runs with
sex
this.
for that skill anyways.
So with my first son, I was pregnant and I was 9 months, and you really don't need to eat more calories at the time. They're pretty good.
Okay.
That's what it says anyway. You don't need more calories.
So what?
I was still gonna eat more calories. Like
Yeah.
I got 2 weeks left before
Yeah,
it was
of
like
course.
2 weeks, and so I made a pie cakein,
What's
which
that?
Pie
What is
cake.
that?
and I blame my 10 of my extra pounds on this pie cakein. So it is there's different
Pie cakein.
varieties.
I've never heard of it.
So I took a cheesecake and baked an apple pie in it.
Oh my god.
So you flip an apple pie. I mean, I bought the apple pie, but I baked the cheesecake around it. And then it was the best tasting thing I have ever. And I'm like pregnant out to here. I have low blood sugar half of my pregnancy. So I'm just
You have to
sitting
have
there.
high blood sugar now.
I
if
ate,
you eat that.
really.
I ate like the whole entire thing. Like there was so many calories. I think 10 pounds were like that week. And I was like, this is it. This is all I got.
So an apple pie in a cheesecake.
In a
Wow.
cheese. It was.
Why don't you take it
So
one step further and
amazing.
put that cheesecake in a real cake?
That's like a turducken.
Yeah, it's just
It's a
just-
what?
I had
You
something like
never heard
that.
of a turducken?
It's not good. I
Turducken.
had something like that recently. It was not
A
good.
duck or chicken, a turducken. So it's chicken
Chicken.
stuffed inside of a duck, stuffed inside of a turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't.
It's actually kinda
I
great
would
stuff
have
of
gout.
cabbage
I would
sauce.
have gout within
America.
an hour of eating that. thing.
America.
It's really rubbery because it's not crisp. Like the
Some of
skin.
it's
Yeah.
super crisp, I'm
Yeah.
sure, and then like
I
some.
love duck.
the
Duck's great.
Yeah, I like duck as
Pretty
well.
greasy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but if it was cooked right, it's really good.
Hey,
I'm
king
fine
duck.
with all.
Now I'm hungry.
But you could do all different ones. You could do like a
I know. I'm
chocolate.
kind of hungry too.
You could do a cherry pie and a chocolate cake, or you can do, highly
That
suggest.
sounds really good.
Yeah, I mean, you can get super serious and make the pie first, and then make the other cakes around it.
The
But
best food or the best eating experience you've ever had in your entire life. Number one at the very top, the apex.
My-
the apex.
So I had my sister over for, I can't remember if it was her birthday or something COVID-ish, and I did like a crab, shrimp, like giant, huge shrimp, crab legs, the boil with the corn,
The prawns.
and the andouille
some good
sausage, and the
living there.
potatoes, and the corn, and white wine sauce, and I have a picture of it on my Facebook.
That's some pretty
It
good
is
living
like,
there.
I made it and I presented it to her because we hung out together a lot during COVID, just the two of us. So I presented it on a platter and we literally stared at it for like 5 minutes before we ate it. It was beautiful.
That's awesome.
It was. I'm a really good cook.
are you crying?
I am.
That's a good one.
I weeped a little.
That's so good. She fluttered
But
to
no,
tears.
it was the best looking thing and the best tasting thing. We
hard
ate
to
so
say.
Alright.
much food that night. But I could cook anything better than
What you can
I
go out
think
and
that
get
I can
it.
go out
Yeah.
and get. So
Yeah. All right.
Well,
That's hard to top right there,
that's hard to
Rocco.
fucking top.
I know.
I will say that probably my bachelor party, Las Vegas, went to this hibachi restaurant, Toro, like fatty tuna sushi. One of the best experience I've ever had because it's hard to get really good. You can't get Toro around here, right? You can't. No restaurants sell it. It's always say we're out of it. So that it's just there's something about it just melts in your mouth. That was probably one of the most memorable, food experiences. I mean, I've had a lot of good food. So I've been around the world and ate different places.
Right.
When I was in India,
Right.
like had really spicy
Yeah.
vindaloo, which was awesome, like truly authentic stuff. But
Excuse me.
for some reason, that Toro, it was just Toro nigiri, and it was phenomenal. It just melted in your mouth like butter.
So,
So
in
good.
that dish that I made for my sister with the crab legs, I forgot that I didn't have like the crab crackers, so we used pliers.
That works.
It
works.
works. That works.
It was
Same
kinda-
thing, basically the same
It
thing.
was kind of funny, but
Yeah, pretty much the same thing.
I
Craftsman
cleaned
tools.
them. Yeah.
You?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I have a few memories. I'm the pork chop queen. So if you need a good chop,
I love breaded pork
that's
chops.
me.
We just talked about pork chops today. Altius, Mount Washington, best
I
pork
had them
chop.
there.
Best pork
I
chop
had
I've
them.
I love
ever
pork
had.
chops.
But it was a little too
Huge.
rare.
See,
That's
I
okay by me.
I
loved
kind
it.
of wanted mine a little more.
Can you
They
make
should be
rare
pink.
pork?
You can make it medium.
It was
Medium?
medium, but
Yeah.
it was medium bordering on like
Like squealing.
oinking still. Yeah.
145 is the
Squealing.
recommended lowest
Yes.
temperature for
Yes.
pork.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I will check that to make sure it is 145. I don't let it go a second after.
I get it.
Do you remember like our parents telling us if like if you ate something you would get a certain like disease or
You cross your eyes, it'll stay that way.
there was a like a
Sit too
pork
close to the
disease
TV, you'll go
like
blind.
some sort of like thing that you would get if you ate raw pork. I can't remember what it was.
I don't know, but I remember salmonella. and
How
E.
many of you
coli.
have had food poisoning?
Hell yeah.
I have had it twice.
I don't know if it was. I mean, I've been sick. I don't know if it was food
Not from
poisoning,
my
just
own
being
food.
drunk. I mean, it was usually if I thought I had food poisoning, it was probably because I drank too much while I ate something. And that's
So
probably
my
what it was.
sister gave the entire family salmonella. That my sister you met, Chrissy. She gave the entire. Thanks, Chrissy. But she gave us all salmonella. So she made this chicken that had
That's
a
bullshit.
marinade, and it was like
Oh.
crushed pineapple and like soy sauce or something.
Yeah,
And
that
she
sounds
like
good.
marinated it Hawaiian chicken. But I swear she put that marinade back on that chicken at the end and didn't cook it. She says she didn't. I swear she did. So it was the entire family, like a pregnant sister.
Oh.
You know, I have my 3-year-old. Like it was the whole family. So none of us knew that the others were deathly ill because we couldn't get up to call anyone to tell anyone. You know, and my hair hurt.
Yeah, it's awful.
It wasn't just shitting your guts out for like days and days and days. My body hurt. My hair hurt.
Both times, I had a boyfriend at the time and was like at their house and had nowhere to go except for to die and be embarrassed out of my. I was just remember being humiliated.
Oh my God.
Are you okay? Get out!
The bathroom stinks. I know.
It's just awful.
How would I not know?
Oh my God, I'll never forget. I was humiliated both times. I was like, and then you're humiliated and you're like trying to ignore the fact like you're so sick.
Do you ever get sick like in a public place where you have to use a public restroom? I remember like getting sick at Macy's, and like I remember just like sweating profusely. You know, you're on a
Yeah, but
date.
at least you're
like you're just sweating like just and they. I remember, like, it was my ex-husband, and he put his hand around my neck, and he was like, oh.
I've had dates.
In Macy's. Yeah.
At least you're anonymous there.
Totally.
But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that went from food to shitting ourselves at Macy's. I mean,
You're welcome.
the show can always take a turn.
Food does not do much for me, but I
Really?
will say, no, I don't know. I just take it or leave it. But I will tell you, I had a porterhouse about 4 years ago at the Capitol Grill. Then I've had a lot of steaks in my day in my travels, some good ones. But then, for whatever quirky reason, that porterhouse at that Capitol Grill was to die for. I think I probably ate the napkin when it was done. I couldn't get enough of it. It was so good.
I do love a good filet mignon.
I went to a
There's
wedding
not enough there.
over the weekend. I went to a
For me.
wedding at the Weirton Country Club. They had the best
been
filet I've ever ate in my life.
They had
Really?
otter.
Really?
They cook otter down there. Right?
I do like, and I'm gonna shout
I
out
almost said something, but I'm not.
the Walnut Grill. Actually, has a really good filet because I love their. I think it's gorgonzola on top.
Okay.
Oh, it's
good.
so good.
Go to Napa
Gargan.
Prime.
But I need also a good Caesar. I like a fresh Caesar with white anchovies on top.
Oh, that sounds good.
Bougie.
We're all going to be digging through the
Bougie.
freezer when we get home.
Right now,
I'm
we're
so
all like,
hungry right now.
That's all we're talking about.
This is
You
killing
mean,
me.
you mean it's better than the Sheets chicken sandwich that I ate whenever I got here tonight?
That's definitely better.
Who
than
has the best pizza in the city?
Oh, dude, that's
Ooh.
a hard one. Best pizza in the city. Oh,
I like Gianni's of Cecil.
Okay.
Very doughy and yummy and good.
I like a thin wood-fired.
I like thick. I like Beato's on Banksville Road.
Oh, I've
good.
had that.
It's good. But the best pizza to me ever is where I grew up, Newcastle, Augustine's Pizza. They have frozen Augustine's pizzas at Giant Eagle. It's literally, it's flaky, thick, crispy crust, sauce, and just Parmesan cheese.
One bite, everybody knows the rules.
That pizza is the best pizza I've ever had in my life.
So Fiore's is probably accepted.
I've
as-
never had
Fury's
it.
is
so-
good.
No.
It's good.
I thought it was pretty good.
The only
Is
reason
that in Dormont?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
The only reason why I don't like Fury's because when I was in college, I went and saw friends at Slippery Rock. I went to W&J, saw friends at Slippery Rock. We were hanging out, and these girls were like, Fury's is the best pizza ever. Let's go. Let's drive to Pittsburgh. So a bunch of us idiots get in a car, drive from Slippery Rock to Pittsburgh in the middle of the fucking night.
It didn't take much to yank you guys out of your town.
I
did it?
mean, someone was driving, so it was just like, yeah, okay. We drive to Pittsburgh to get this Fury's pizza that's supposed to change my life.
It didn't.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's cold cheese. Like, what is this? Like, why don't they have the cheese heated up? They sold
It's a
this like it
different
was
kind of
like a
thing.
unicorn. Like, this is the best
Yeah, it's
pizza.
not a unicorn.
I mean, we drove an
It's
hour and a
pizza.
half from Slippery Rock to get there. And like 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's why to
So
this
you White
day,
or what's that movie with
White
Harold
Castle.
and Kumar?
Yes, Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. It was
So it's a Homer call, but right down a block from us is Anthony Junior's, and I think they're both they're Sicilian. They're thin.
weren't they
traditional
on
is
it?
good.
Weren't they on One Bite? Is that
They might have been. I don't know, but they're Sicilian. I don't eat a lot of thick pizza, but I'll tell you what, one or two pieces of their Sicilian will put you in a coma.
There's a place in
What's that
Oakmont.
place in Bridgeville? They make a square that's actually really
There's
good.
that one called
I've
Iron.
been there
is
with
there
my
an
Country
Iron
style
Country
pizza.
style, yeah.
Is there like an Ironborn
Yeah.
pizza, Detroit style, something in the city?
Jet Pizza?
Supposed
Is
to be really
Detroit
good.
style. It's really it's
That
like
has
thick.
the sauce on the top, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Chicago. No, Chicago.
Well,
has
Chicago's the deep dish with the sauce, like the.
I think Jets may have sauce, but the ones I got, I don't think have sauce on top. But it's thick square pizza,
Yeah,
like
thick
really
squares.
thick.
Like that's supposed to be Sicilian, right?
I guess they say Detroit style.
Best burger in town.
Tesaro's, Bloomfield.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah,
But I
definitely.
just had a burger in Vegas at a chain. It was Guy Fieri's place, and
Someone else told me about that.
it was so freaking good. And there is one in Greensburg at the casino.
Flavortown Kitchen.
It was
Right.
oh my god, it was. I
Yeah.
had one that had I think it had like crispy onions on it and bacon, and
Okay.
so the burger. It tasted like it was cooked in a cast iron skillet, so it was crispy,
Right.
you know. And then a friend of mine had the macaroni and cheeseburger, which I would not eat, but
yeah, I made
but
it
that
come
would
after
that
that.
was too much. But the
Yeah.
burger I had, I will definitely go back. It was, you know, a brioche bun that was toasted
Yeah.
and buttered. I mean, everything, all of the layers were perfect.
Right.
They didn't like,
Right.
they didn't
Okay.
scrimp on anything. It was perfect.
See, I feel like I had, and
The
he's
perfect
gonna be
burger.
mad at me. Pittsburgh Bottle Shop had it recently, and I don't get out much to eat, so you know they had a burger there with, I want to say it was maybe blueberry, or I think it was brie and something else, but it was so good, and now I can't remember what was on it.
Did you ever have one with peanut butter on it?
No.
I've not, but I've heard they've been
I'd
good.
try it.
Like peanut butter
Yes.
and bacon.
I love
Fried egg
peanut
on a
butter.
burger is good too.
Fried egg is good on anything.
The best burger I've ever had was in Miami. It was a burger with cooked perfectly with bacon, jam, and foie gras.
Oh, I wouldn't eat that.
I didn't think I would either.
I don't like-
it. It tastes
I'll
like
eat-
butter. It
I'll try
tastes like
anything.
it was the best burger I've ever had.
Explain what
Phenomenal.
that is exactly.
It's like duck liver. It's duck liver.
Oh, duck liver.
Yeah, I don't like
but
that.
it's literally just cut in a slice on the burger, and the heat just melts it. So it's almost like just like butter.
It's
Pretty rich.
It's so good though. It was so good.
I'll try
makes,
anything.
What makes
like,
the sorrows so good?
it's fine.
I don't know. I think it's just the burger itself. Like every time I've been there, just the taste of the meat or however they season it. It's just because you don't get anything special. It's just a burger with cheese and vegetables on it or mushrooms on it. But there's something about the way it's cooked, the bun. I don't know. It's
Well, it
just
has to be because everybody
it's the
says the
high
same thing.
heat too. I think
Yeah,
they do
yeah,
like because
yeah.
it's like flamed. You
Yeah.
know, they cook those potatoes.
Well,
and,
Burger King flames their burgers.
well, that's not me.
I mean,
Right?
right now I'd eat Burger King. You guys keep talking about food. I mean, if someone brought in Whoppers, like this is the best burger in Pittsburgh right now,
I think I
definitely
have half of
it
a
wins.
stale granola bar in my purse. I'll be eating it on the way back.
You like Five Guys?
I mean, I do, but to me that's a chain, right? And
I think the secret there is it tastes different because they use peanut oil, and
Yeah.
peanut oil, I think peanut oil was flushed out of the American fast food system back
Mm-hmm.
in the Nixon era because it was so high in trans fat. I believe that was the thing.
now
Because
with
it tastes
allergies.
but it tastes so damn good,
yeah.
right?
I mean, Five Guys is
I mean,
good.
if you're
don't get
eating
me
a
wrong.
burger, you're already.
If you fry a turkey, I think they do the turkey fryers with peanut oil.
I think so.
Oh,
That's
really?
delicious.
Fried
Yeah,
turkey.
peanut oil is pretty unbelievable if you succumb to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you might need to have like a side of Lipitor or whatever after when you're done eating, but you definitely I'll take a leg of that fried turkey and an angioplasty to go.
Hey man, you eat fried turkey once a year on Thanksgiving. It's fine. It's fine.
Turkey's not bad, right? I mean,
No, I like it.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, like that's one of my favorite
you-
meals
Yeah,
of the
but
year.
so
If
I.
you brine it, like I brine
Yeah.
a turkey in cider,
okay.
a cider brine. Oh, inject it with a Creole seasoning and then a dry rub, and then I smoke
I
it.
feel like you need to have a restaurant and not be a banker.
Yeah, I'm just thinking to
feel
myself.
like-
I don't even understand half the shit you're talking about.
Brining is a
You
very
basically said I
positive
cook
thing.
better than anywhere I could go, so I feel like you should just have a restaurant.
But I will
definitely.
say that yesterday I stopped by. I was telling you this afternoon. I stopped by a food truck that was for the fire department, and I got spaghetti and meatballs for the kids, and they had one meatball, and I
First
went,
mistake.
"There's one meatball," and that's generally what my children eat.
There's one meatball.
So I was supposed to make spaghetti and meatballs that night, but I was like, oh, I'll just take it easy and just go get it over, help the fire department. And
they
so I
gave
get
you
home,
one.
I have to make meatballs. So I made like 9 meatballs, and I had turkey meat instead of it. There's a huge difference between
Yeah,
the veal, the
hell
pork, and the
yeah.
beef. So yes, turkey is good, but like you can't make a
has its
meatball out of
place.
it.
It
was healthier, but-
I know.
It's not for meatballs.
It
You
is
can make a
not.
good
Poultry.
turkey meatball with like a different type of sauce.
By
You
throwing
know,
it
not-
away
like an
and bringing
Asian
the beef
sauce or
out.
like a sweet
No,
and spicy
if I had like
sauce,
a
yes.
ton of sauce for it, or like I made them very, very small and like really, really fry them, like then they might
I'll
be
do
good.
like 50 meatballs when I make meatballs and freeze them.
It's like
I did that
pumpkin.
during
Like
COVID.
best thing to make with pumpkin is
She's
nothing.
dating during
Throw
COVID.
it in the
Cooking.
trash.
Thank you.
I mean,
Walking
yes.
in the
No,
car.
pumpkin is so good.
Pumpkin meatballs.
Roasted pumpkin. Oh no. Pumpkin meatballs.
Pumpkin seeds are the only thing I'll eat. Pumpkin. I mean, I'll eat pumpkin if it's there. I don't like it.
Why is that a thing with women? Like pumpkins? Is it just because it's festive? Because it's
No.
the season?
Do you eat butternut squash?
I do.
I don't even know what that
I like
is.
that. It's
But
good.
that's like pumpkin.
But it's
I
not.
don't, I don't even know what
But it's
that
not
is.
pumpkin.
I love butternut
Did you ever have like a
squash.
pumpkin ravioli? It's really
I mean,
good.
I probably
It is
tried a
good.
bite of Laura's that she probably got one night when we were out because she likes pumpkin. And
I made
I'm
a
like, this is
cauliflower
fucking
crust
terrible.
one time.
Oh, that's good.
Cauliflower's good.
That was pretty good.
I
but
just had some
they're hard to
General
make.
Tso's cauliflower at a bar
I've had that. That's pretty good.
on Sunday night.
It's
It was
still not chicken.
it was delicious.
Anything that General
No, it was.
Tso's is basically like molasses. So
Oh yeah, it is.
like here's some
Yeah,
sugar.
they have that,
Yeah,
they
I
have
had a
that
bite
at
of it.
Trader
But-
Joe's.
yeah.
You're better off eating 5 Snickers bars
Yeah.
than you are sitting down to a
Yes.
plate of General Tso chicken with rice.
Yes,
No,
exactly.
really.
Oh,
Yes,
so
100%.
good.
It is.
I won't eat
It
it
is.
because I can't see like the meat. You know what I mean?
Cat.
I
no,
don't
I'm just
think they
kidding.
can
It's
see-
delicious. It's chicken.
Oh, it's definitely some kind of varmint, some kind of rodent
No.
for
But it
sure.
doesn't
I
like
mean,
if you cut it open. I think it's thigh meat. That's why. Like, but you can get General Tso's with white meat, and then you
Yeah.
know that's. I eat shrimp at a Chinese restaurant because
is it safer?
it's shrimp.
You know what
I mean,
it is.
it's you
They
can't
don't-
fake
they-
what it looks
Do they
like.
devein them?
Yeah, I won't eat it if it's not.
Do they? I don't know.
Not always.
I never really
It
looked.
depends where you
Yeah,
go.
You see that little black streak on it, you know
Yeah.
what you're eating.
You'll be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you're not
Just
gonna
eat it.
die. It's
It
just
depends, like where you
You
go.
want, hey, if you want to eat poop and you're good with it, rock
I
on with your
clean
bad
mine,
self.
but I'm just saying, like they better coat it.
All right, I know I've rubbed against it here, but this was better than expected.
very fun.
It was a fun experience.
Super hungry though.
I'm
Super
We got
starving.
Rocco that put
Literally.
eat one of these light bulbs over here.
I can
so.
divvy up that granola bar if you guys would like.
It may be
in
the
the
Hunger
quarters.
Games getting out of here with that granola
I
bar.
probably have some like really crusty goldfish under the car seats.
Oh
that I'm
man, I got some
snacking
weird
on.
things in that refrigerator in the other room over there. We won't go there. Thank y'all. Did you have fun?
Absolutely.
Eric, it's
Always.
always a pleasure.
All right, we're gonna do it again.
Yeah.
It's nice meeting everybody.
Absolutely.
Very
It's a
nice to
pleasure.
We're
meet
gonna do
you.
this again. This is
Rocco,
good. Definitely. This is a good
so
group.
you work on Monday
This is a good
Yes.
group.
or no?
Next week or
Hey,
tomorrow.
yeah, she's not showing up tomorrow.
I got the golf outing.
I never know when she shows up. She
What
just
a
comes.
what a job.
I'll
no
even be
idea.
like, I'll see you on Friday. Oh yeah, all right. Maybe not, but I'll do some work from home today.
What a job.
It's awful.
I'm an easy boss to work for.
No doubt. All right, friends.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We're out. See ya.
My hair's sweaty.
fucking hungry right now.
Hello, you're listening to the Eric McKenna Project.